Mason, this episode is brought to you by Harry Shavers, which we'll talk about in a bit, so just wait.
I just want to talk about Harry Shavers.
You can wait 20 minutes or wherever it is.
Look how smooth my neck is.
It's very good.
Thank you.
But look, we've got a big event to kind of talk about just quickly.
Yes, we do.
On the 25th of March, we're going to be having launch our podcast network, Planet Broadcasting.
That's 2017.
That's 2017. 25th of March 2017, between 2 and 6 at the Rivoli Cinema. There'll be
If you're listening to this in the future, it's like 2025. You think you're going to just rock up there.
Can't.
Rivoli might not even exist at that point.
Nothing might exist. But it's... what do we got here? Yeah, it's between 2 and 6 at Rivoli Cinema in Melbourne. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff going on. There's going to be a live panel, which we'll be on, and the different podcasts as well, which will be part of the network. We're going to be giving away 360 Fly cameras.
Yeah, right.
We're sponsoring the event, which is great. There's finger food. It's open bar. There's a special guest performance by a sketch group, which we can't say who it is yet because it's a secret.
It's the two Ronnies.
It's absolutely the two Ronnies. Yeah. It's
Whichever one's alive and whichever one isn't, we're going to animate Weekend at Bernie's style.
I can't wait. It is an 18 plus event because there is alcohol and whatnot.
And it's going to be sexy.
And it'll be so sexy. Like I said, tickets are $15, but half of that goes to Movemeber.
Yeah.
Because if you donate to our Movemeber campaign, which is all about men's mental health, you can ask a question, which we'll try and answer on the panel. And if not, we're going to do a private Q&A for those people who donated afterwards, like we did last year.
Fantastic.
Last year we raised like $40,000 for UNICEF.
Yeah, we did. We didn't do anything.
We raised $40,000.
We did nothing. Our listeners did everything.
So the idea is that, look, if we don't get to your question, we'll try to get to it in the Q&A. But all that information is linked below. Tickets are very limited. Don't go out of your way to fly down to see it.
This isn't strictly speaking a live Weekly Planet show.
No.
Yeah.
No.
We don't even know how we do that, really.
We've never done anything like this before. So look, but the booze and the food is worth it for the $15.
I think so.
I believe so. But also, it's going to be posted online. Like even if you don't donate, it's going to be recorded, and like the next day or the day after, it's all going to be up. So don't worry, don't go out of your way, and we will hopefully be working up to more live shows at some point or another when we get around to. We'll organise it, I guess.
Yeah. Very exciting, folks. If you want to pop down, if you want to see why Mr. Sunday Movies has covered his face for so long, what particular facial scarring he has, and let me tell you, he's got heaps, mate.
So many. Which ear am I missing? Find out on the 25th of March.
Or which ear does he have one more of?
It's linked below.
James, before we get started...
Oh, sorry, go on.
Before we get started...
I'm ready.
We're both on
yes.
the current episode of Filthy Casuals.
Correct.
The video game podcast with many kind boys in it.
It was a fun time. A lot of people have listened to it already, so they said it was the best podcast.
Great.
That's what they said.
Was that the best podcast?
Correct, yeah.
Great. Well, we don't need any of those
because there was
those
thought
words in the middle.
Between it, like making sure what you mean what you say and you say what you mean, you know?
In a way, it was the best podcast.
Yeah.
But we had a great old time on that podcast.
Yeah,
so that's on iTunes.
Yep.
Filthy Casuals with Tommy Daslow, Ben Vanel, and Adam Knox.
Correct.
Possibly not in that order, but it's a good old time.
Who cares?
That's linked
below.
It is linked below. Our mates, Planet Broadcasting.
Togetherness.
Yeah.
Fun.
That's our catchphrase now for Planet Broadcasting.
What did we say? What was it?
It's our mates.
Okay,
mates.
It's our mates.
Mates doing podcasting.
Good. On with the show.
Red hot comic book movie news, shooting up your butthole. The Weekly Planet.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode. To another episode of the Weekly Planet official podcast of comicbookmovie.com, where we talk movies, comics, TV shows. My name is James, also known as Mr. Sunday. With me always is my co-host, carrier of the champ, Nick Mason.
It's me. I won again.
He's back.
I won the Weekly Planet last week, and now I'm back to do it again. But we've got a special guest this week.
We do. A competitor.
Oh, no.
That's how it works.
Well, see, that's pretty much why I've always won. Because I've had no competition.
Absolutely.
Oh, very special guest. 1/3 of the very funny podcast Do Go On, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah. You've been on it.
I have been on it.
Yeah.
Award-winning comedian. He was the winner of Raw Comedy. That's Australia's nationwide young comedy type person type search.
Sexiest comedian
in Australia 2014.
Yep.
It's Mr. Matt Stewart. Hey, Matt. Welcome.
Hey, Nick. Thanks so much for having me. I missed the Sunday.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
I just had your face revealed to me
Yeah.
What, literally just now?
just now.
That's right,
Wow.
yeah.
I had my eyes closed.
Terrifying?
No.
Suitable?
Oh
it
man,
fit? Okay.
what a lovely surprise.
I'll take that. Thank you very much.
Here's some more facts about Matt Stewart from Wikipedia.
I'm ready.
You ready for this?
You got a Wikipedia?
I don't think so.
He's a linebacker. He's been part of the Atlanta Falcons, the
Wow.
Cleveland Browns, the Arizona Cardinals, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
What are you doing, man?
You're a busy
I'm a
man.
journeyman.
I was going to say, got
get
no
around.
loyalty.
Hey, I'm pretty sure both the Ronnies are dead as well.
Oh, both of them, really?
Oh, no.
Corbett?
Sorry for you to find out that
So
way.
we might have to tweak that maybe on the day.
Yeah.
We'll worry about it on the day. though,
Okay,
won't
we'll do it
we?
on the day. Yeah, we'll find out.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, as you know, if you've listened to this show, which I think you have,
I have,
You don't.
yeah.
You don't have to have. That's
I
not
was
a
actually
requirement.
like 2 days ago. I looked up, my app thing with the podcast.
I know
or
apps,
whatever.
sure,
yeah,
yeah.
you get it. And I was like, oh, I wonder if there's a new Weekly Planet out, and I refreshed it, and there wasn't. And I'm like, oh no, I'm on the new Weekly Planet. So it's clearly I haven't done that yet. So it's probably not out.
Probably not. Yeah.
That's often I will occasionally make an appearance on a podcast that I like, such as your podcast, Do Go On. And that week, I'm like, oh, I'm on this one. I can't listen to it. This is a real letdown.
What a bummer.
Because I remember all the
I can't
stupid
listen
things
to
I
those
said.
ones either as well. The ones that you're on, they're terrible.
No,
offense.
No, that's okay.
Oh,
I
you,
reckon
mate, it is
they're
you.
they're the best ones.
Yeah,
Thanks,
you're well
pal.
into them.
Man, I've learnt some stuff on those.
Boy.
Jeez.
The thing you mentioned to me yesterday at the DC universe being the world is bigger.
Yes,
you
I
said?
love
Physically
that.
larger,
oh
yeah.
man, that made me feel so pumped.
because
Absolutely.
it contains all the real world cities, but also all the fake cities. So it needs to be
Including Gotham,
Gotham,
Metropolis,
That's correct.
Metropolis.
and
Star
probably one where
City.
one of the green people
Well,
are
it
from. The Goblin or the wait, no, it's the Green Goblin.
No, the Goblin. That's the one. There's probably a DC character called the Goblin.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
There's even now Charm City. I don't know if you've watched
Charm from the TV show.
No, the Charm City is from the new DC TV series, Powerless.
Oh, did you watch that?
I did watch it. I
Should we
watched the
save
first
it
episode.
for
We
a
can
bit
save it
later?
for later, but there's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
new DC TV series set amongst the regular rabble of the DC universe. There's no superheroes in it.
Ah,
Just
cool.
just a regular folks.
Sounds
kinda-
real boring, but we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
Hey, so Matt, how many facts do you think you retain from your podcast? Because it's a fact-based.
That's all fact. Oh, we should mention as well, you're going to be part of Planet Broadcasting also, and you're going to be there.
Just you, not the other two.
Yeah, no, we don't want them. But
David
Oh
Jesse.
no, I'll let them down easy. I'm catching up with them later, so that's going to be fun. To
tell them after the show. You don't
Yeah,
want to bum
I'm
them
going
out.
to tell them during. Yeah, it's pretty exciting to be over. We just tweeted that news out to our friends who follow us on Twitter.
Absolutely.
That's how that works.
That's
obviously.
exactly how that works. Yeah.
And they seem excited.
Cool, yeah.
One person said, "What does that mean?" And I turned off my phone and went into a different room because I wasn't fully sure how to answer. But I know
We're
it's
still not sure
exciting.
either.
Absolutely it is. Well, we got to get straight into the news.
No, but the thing.
Oh, sorry.
Question about the facts.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Jeez, mate.
How many facts do you think you retain?
I
from
reckon
your
I
podcast?
leak a lot of them. I reckon maybe 20 to 30%, maybe.
That's still a good rate.
That's quite good.
We'll talk about a movie on an episode, and then the next week I'll have no.
It's like
memory.
you hadn't seen that
It's like I hadn't seen the movie, exactly. We'll talk about like an upcoming movie for like 10 weeks, and then it'll come up and I'll be like, this totally took me by surprise. When did they announce this?
Batman and Superman.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, actually, I found out an interesting fact the other day. Med students' brains, they actually slightly expand, apparently. I heard this from a med student during exam period because they just cram in all this information. And so it expands to kind of fill, I don't know by how much, less than a millimeter. And then it shrinks back afterwards. So maybe
Just
that-
med students. That
Well,
sounds
yeah,
like
'cause they're
that
doing
sounds
all
like
the hard work,
that
Mason.
sounds like a med student showing off.
med students and podcasters.
Surely all people studying.
Your
you would
brain's real swole, man.
think. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's shredded. My brain's shredded. I dehydrate my brain just before the exam, so it looks totally shredded.
Real cut. Cut brain.
So Avatar's still happening. Matt, you a fan of the Avatar movie?
Look, I'm a person that I think because you guys are so in to
so
everything that you're kind of jaded by everything, right?
Yes.
But I'm kind of the opposite where I'm just like a wide-eyed kid.
That's great,
I was
yeah.
like, wow, look at all these cool things. So I'm still like Batman versus Superman. I quite enjoyed.
Awesome.
Apart from
No.
apart from the Lex Luthor guy, I think.
Yeah,
But I found him really annoying. But the rest of it was like, look at him. Batman and Superman together. Imagine it.
At last.
It's so good.
But see, that's the thing, because I've been imagining it for 25 years.
Yeah,
And
right.
so ultimately, in a way, it's my fault for being like, oh, there's nothing that could live up to this.
Yeah.
But maybe they could have tried a bit harder. Anyway, let's not talk about it.
You did explain to me why it was bad, and now I understand. So that's all right. But at the time, I was like, "Oh, look at him! Look at him
Didn't
go!"
change how you felt at the time.
No, you
That's
can't.
Great.
You can't do that.
Well, I feel I don't want to rain on anybody's parade anymore. So if somebody enjoys a thing that I think is bad, I'm just like,
Yeah.
just enjoy it. It's
No,
fine.
I think you're giving them knowledge, and a weight that they'll carry forever.
Yeah. Yeah, that
What
does
a-
feel good
what a
now that I think
gift.
about it.
Anyway, James Cameron has said that he's going to be filming the next 4 Avatar sequels together. So his focus isn't on Avatar 2, his focus is on Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5 equally. And he says he feels like he's been let out of jail because he's been in the writing cave for the last 2 years, and he's actually enjoying life. He doesn't enjoy riding, and he says he wouldn't wish riding on a dog. Which is an odd thing to say.
No, he's great at metaphors though, so that's a plus.
You could hire a rider, right? You could
Well, he's the kind of guy, he likes to do everything and he's a bit of a megalomaniac apparently in that way.
And
Why
also,
is it taking so long to get sequels? Because it was huge at the time.
Yeah, 2009, so it'll be nearly 10 years.
well, he did
from
that,
the
and
first one.
then he bought a submarine or something.
I think he already had the
he
submarine.
already had the submarine, but he refurbished the submarine.
Yeah.
And then he just took some weird submarine trips. Didn't he?
I don't know. Well, the first time it was because the technology was trying to catch up, but now the technology is established. I mean, obviously you still got to build upon it. It's so it'll look better. But no, I don't know. Maybe because he wanted to do 4 at once, so he had to do the 8 years of prep to kind of even get started on that. Because no one's ever filmed 4 movies at once for a reason, I'd imagine. But yeah.
Has it always been 4 sequels? I thought
Well,
it was 3
it
sequels.
was 2 initially, and then it was 3, and then I think one's a prequel, or one was a prequel, and one's underwater, and I don't know.
I reckon maybe it's it's a series of escalating bets between him and his other rich friends. Like maybe Leonardo DiCaprio's like, he could never do 3, and he's like, I'll put 3 on the slate, and somebody else is like, you could never do 4 though, could you? He's like, I'll do 4.
I'll do it. Great. Anyway.
That's because of Marvel, right? That's changed everything. Now you can just plan
Absolutely.
so far ahead and
Yeah. But I guess I feel like because that's a studio, well, he's obviously got a studio behind him, but that's a whole bunch of people working together. Like, it's a lot to put on one man.
Yeah, jeez.
Then again, he doesn't really take a foot wrong in terms of filmmaking. You like Terminator?
Terminator's good.
You like Avatar?
Yeah, I remember it. I remember thinking, like it was, it was like it looked very nice.
Didn't it?
It felt like a story I'd seen before. But
Yeah, absolutely.
It looked very pretty.
Titanic?
Titanic, I saw that twice.
Yeah, there you go. That's a sign of
Why
it.
were you so puzzled by that? Titanic?
I had to think about whether it was. No, that definitely was.
And that is one of those weird movies, the movies where you know that it ends badly.
Yeah.
And you still watch it.
You're still along for the
And
ride.
I'm still, it's part of me going, oh, maybe. I can't help it. I'm like, maybe this time.
You're against the film Sully, is that right?
Look,
seen it.
I mean, it's just the idea. I guess it's the same as Titanic, where it's like, it just ends in him landing softly on a river. What a weird soft end. Like, no one would write a movie like that, would they?
That's a really good point. Oh, well, they kind of did with that Denzel Washington one, where he rolls the plane. Remember that?
Denzel
Flight?
rolls the plane in the movie. Yeah, I remember that.
Plane,
He had a chipmunk sidekick. Chimpanzee. sorry.
Yeah, either way. But yeah.
And the chipmunk can just hang on to anything. So if the plane's rolling, he doesn't care. He's having a ball.
I haven't seen Sully, but isn't the idea that he's kind of has to get out of it, and the insurance companies are coming after him? They're like, Sully, you're responsible. You could have landed it on a better place.
Really? Okay. Look, I have no idea.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
We had Broden from, I don't know if you know sketch group Arnie Donna.
Absolutely, I do.
Broden from them came on and did an episode about aeroplanes.
Oh, okay, right, yeah. I know,
On Do
I
Go
know that
On.
one.
The podcast.
Great
we talked about
podcast,
before.
yeah.
And he did it, yeah, he talked about Sully, and I guess that's why Nick's saying that. Because I was like, Broden did not like the fact that I'm like, and you know how it ends, it's boring. And he's like, well, why not do nothing then? Sort of like he took it to a real extreme.
Took it way too seriously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just be wary if you ever bump into him.
Don't
But
bring it up, yeah.
surely, if you extend that out, most movies you could be like, well, this can only really end one of two ways, right?
Yeah, that's
Either the
true.
good guys win or the bad guys win for most
But you're
movies.
eliminating one of those two ways here. It can end one of one way.
I guess that's... Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Anyway, Ben Affleck left the Batman movie.
Yeah, he did.
That's a big deal happening.
Yeah, because that was going to be really good, right? Everyone was really excited that he was going to...
That was the kind of the saving grace. People who are even like, I hate these movies, but Ben Affleck's going to do a Batman movie. It's going to be great. And he's going to save the universe and we're all going to love it forever and whatever. He's still in it. He's producer, one of the writers. It's getting another rewrite, or it has got another rewrite, but he's not... Yeah, they need another director, so it's going to be pushed back. It's a whole thing. The internet is ablaze in a big way. Who wants to say something about it?
Pass. No, I'm just kidding. Look, there's a lot of ways this could go. Immediately the meme started, and one was like, it was a quote from Ben Affleck, which may or not be real, but it said something like, I'll only direct the Batman if the script is good. And then underneath it was like, Ben Affleck not directing the Batman, which, you know, so alarmists would say that's because the script is no good. He recently directed and starred in, and it turns out he wrote it as well. That film, you might have seen posters for it, Live by Night.
Yeah.
That one is it 1950s gangster film?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was Live by Night or Live by Night. Driving here today, I passed a poster for it, and I had that conversation with myself.
Yeah, because they never say the title. They never say the title of a movie in a trailer
poster
anymore.
Oh,
there
yeah,
used
in
to
a
be
trailer.
there used to be Don LaFontaine who'd be like Live by Night or possibly Live by
Is he
Night.
dead?
Yeah, he died.
Oh.
Yeah. But so nobody, and that died with him, so nobody
Yeah.
says the title. There's a bookshop in Melbourne called Hill of Content, but maybe it's called the Hill of Content because
my
it's a
God.
bookshop, right?
That makes
But maybe
sense.
you're content because you've got knowledge from the books, but maybe it's what's in the bookshop. It's what's in the books, which is content.
That's amazing.
But it's
Do you-
probably
Do you reckon they
content.
did it on purpose because
Yeah.
they're a literary genius?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those smug pricks, I'll kill them. I'll kill them with their books.
Well, if you're a fan of Batman v Superman, then you
I'll
would be...
look up. I was saying that
Oh,
to
you
be
liked it at the time.
controversial.
That's
It was fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Was this something that was on your radar that you were looking forward to?
Yeah, because I like I've liked Ben Affleck movies in recent times. That
Yeah.
Boston one about the gang or whatever.
Yeah, Boston
The-
Gang. Boston.
Is that what it's called?
No, it's called The Town.
Oh man, if it was called Boston Gang, it would have felt really dumb.
The Boston Boys
Yeah, that
and girls.
was good, right?
Yeah,
And so
absolutely,
was other things.
Argo?
Argo's
Yeah.
good, even though he plays a Latino character.
That's right, he does.
is a bit
yeah.
weird.
Yeah, he does. But he grew his hair out for it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean that's probably enough to make whitewashing okay. But yeah, so I always thought it was like going to be amazing.
Right, yeah.
So this feels like that he didn't believe it was going to be amazing.
Well, I've
if
made
you
a
believe the meme.
If you believe
and
it,
I do.
but I mean, yeah, like I think, other people are saying, well, this movie that he wrote and he directed and he started, he poured his heart into it, and then people were like, it's fine, and so maybe
Yeah.
he's lost steam for
Totally.
Maybe he's like, I just want to be in a movie, and I don't want to get the crushing pressure of every.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
And especially something like this, because since he was cast in like 2013, everyone's like, even though before he did an announcement, everyone's like, he's probably going to direct a Batman movie, it's coming. So that's all people have been asking him about for like 3 years. And even up to 2 weeks ago, he was like, look, I'm going to do it. Everyone shut up, leave me alone. And then 2 weeks ago, he's like, oh, not 2 weeks ago, like a few days ago, he's like no, I'm not doing it anymore. I actually did a video on it. I found a whole lot of interviews
Let's
where he
check
like,
now, Matt.
where he like, it's not up, where he like flipped back and forth. It'll be up now if you're listening to this, but if you're in the room, it's not up
I am
now.
listening to this now, though.
If you're in the room now,
Oh, I see. There's
it's
a proviso.
not-
Okay,
yeah.
right, gotcha.
but I found a bunch of interviews.
So if
where-
I'm in the room now,
yeah,
it won't be available for me later. Is
correct
what you're saying.
for you.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Wow.
That's how that works.
It's like we've been cursed, man.
Oh no.
But I found a whole lot of interviews where he kind of flips back and forth on whether or not he's doing it, and
Yeah, okay.
but the constant is, I'm only going to do it if it's good. That's the thing that he kind of says in every interview, and I feel like they kind of pressured him to meet this release date, and because he likes to kind of get all these ducks in a row and whatever.
He has some pet ducks.
He has some ducks. Yeah,
He's very eccentric.
but what was I
Come along, Frederick.
We've got a movie to make, but what was I saying? Fuck you,
Ducks in a
Mason.
row.
Fuck it, hell. But
He wants to get his ducks in a
he
row.
wants to get his ducks in a row, and because
Worth
Warner
them.
Brothers were kind of pushing him. He's like, well, I can't make this the way I want it to, so he jumped ship. But now because of that, they can't meet their release date or even his release date, so it's going to be back even further, I'd imagine, because they've got to get a new director, and who's going to want to jump on board now? I mean, they'll find someone, but
How weird that it's hard to get someone to direct Batman.
yeah, I know. I know.
That's so weird.
But this universe is kind of. People have dropped out a lot. Like, we've been talking about it recently. The Flash
has
lost
lost-
two directors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonder Woman lost
the
a
ocean.
director.
They all lost him in an ocean.
They all lost him in an ocean.
no.
Yeah.
There's been a few other things like that happening. So
Yeah.
who knows, man?
I think for me, I think the real reason it's not because the script is particularly bad, and it's not because he's had this lukewarm reception. I think it's because of the pressure of this is kind of the linchpin. Are we going to have a good DC universe, or are we going to have an overall bad DC universe? And if he's just like, well, I'm just a hired gun, I'm just here and I'm stand on my mark and I say my lines.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of it's not my fault kind of thing.
And he was loved for that, right? His portrayal was pretty well.
People enjoyed it. Yeah.
That's the one
Apart from
thing.
the Razzies.
Yeah. What'd you think of that?
It's weird.
Yeah.
Because Lex Luthor wasn't nominated.
That is weird, yeah. Was he not? I haven't read the list, I don't know.
Not the
No, he
list.
wasn't.
No, oh, maybe because he wasn't a lead actor.
I might have been,
Yeah, so Henry
supporting or whatever.
Cavill and Ben Affleck
Henry
were...
Cavill's barely in that movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
not, yeah. But I think Affleck's just like, if I just say I'm acting in this,
Yeah.
all the decision making is in the hands of somebody else, and I can't be responsible for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I would do myself.
Yes,
Who wouldn't?
Makes total sense.
Oh, it just feels like I would have thought he'd be a guy who is full of confidence and just like, yeah, I can make this all better.
I think absolutely until this recent kind of miss with his... So I think he kind of took a hit and he went, oh, wait a minute, I don't want this.
right.
You know, kind
Maybe
of
I
thing.
am bad at this.
I got lucky.
I did win an Oscar, but that was when there was like, two other people were nominated for Oscars.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly, yeah.
Now it's a much bigger field.
That's it.
I like how that, in your mind, that makes it different. Because, I mean, he's still nominated from everyone.
Yeah.
The short list is shorter. But it's not like they were the only available actors. You know what I'm saying, Mason?
I do know what you're saying. And
I
take
also
great
know what you're
offense.
saying.
Yeah.
I just quickly, there's a petition online that had something like 3,000, maybe 4,000 signatures to get Zack Snyder to direct this because he'd be the perfect choice. That's what they think. Who did Batman, Superman? Mason, how do you feel about that?
Look, 2,999 of those signatures were mine. I feel he can do it. I just keep signing.
You don't really think that, do you?
No.
Okay, good.
Give it to anyone else.
Okay.
But aren't you guys paid by Marvel
We
and
absolutely
hate
pay.
DC?
That's absolutely correct.
Deep
yes.
down, you
yeah,
just
yeah.
always have hated them?
I need to cut you a check on the way out as well.
Yeah,
if you're on
appreciate
board, that is.
I'm on board. Marvel's the best universe and DC is no good.
Take
Very
that.
good.
Even though it is clearly perfect. But I will not say that because I like money too much.
Absolutely. We all do. So does Temuera Morrison. How do you say his name?
No, you nailed that.
Is that right?
No.
Temuera.
Yeah, Twemwemwera.
How do you say it?
Temuera, I think?
Temuera? He's
That
Django Fett from the Star Wars movies.
Yes.
For those people not in the know. He's going to be playing Aquaman's human father, and Nicole Kidman's going to be playing his Atlantean mother.
Oh.
That's happening now.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's been changed heaps, right? Because he's a big hairy guy.
Yes, yeah.
But he's
Yeah.
not. It's weird how you can do that.
Oh, well, a lot of people, actually, people are okay with this generally, aren't they?
They seem to
I
be.
think
yeah.
so, yeah. Like, because and Aquaman's one of those characters where in the comic books they never really have known what to do with him.
Yeah.
And so he's gone through a lot of changes. So he started as this, he was in the green tights and the goldfish scaled
He looked great.
chest, and very clean cut as they all were.
Blonde as
yeah,
can
and
be.
then if in the 90s everybody got more extreme in the comic book universes, everybody became cyborg tough guys kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so he lost one of his arms was eaten by piranhas, and so he got like a mechanical hook that he could shoot out.
Wow.
Like
that's
a
cool.
harpoon.
Like a grappling hook.
and he
harpoon
got
somehow.
like a big beard and big old long hair, and he became a kind of a rough.
Oh,
and
so
tumble
he
tough
had
guy.
done that. He'd
Yeah,
already done that.
he's sort
Okay.
of done a bit of this.
Yeah, so it's not that much of a leap.
No.
And and they've sort of attempted to do the clean cut version of like TV shows and cartoons and things like that, and
Everyone hates it.
You know what? In the Entourage universe,
yes,
Of course, yes.
the Entourage, yes,
he wasn't
Turtleverse.
Wasn't the guy we were just talking about before?
the Viniverse.
Yeah.
The Avatar director. What's his name?
James Cameron,
yeah.
He was going to direct a movie about.
He did. Yeah.
He did do it.
In the Entourage universe, he directed the Aquaman movie with Vinny Chase, and then Michael Bay did the sequel with Jake Gyllenhaal.
So funny.
That is a
I've
funny
heard
show.
them say,
That's a good show.
"What a classic show! Great, just a great comedy show." But I heard them talking about it, and they picked that because they thought it was the most ridiculous superhero to choose, and they thought no one would ever make a movie out of it. So it's so funny that they would.
They're having to go on anything these days. We've got bloody talking raccoons and whatever, and anything goes, man. So a man who can
Regular raccoons.
Can you imagine? Yeah. So yeah, anything kind of goes now. The weirder the kind of, maybe not the weirder the better. But Hollywood's more game, isn't
That's
it,
true.
Mason?
And I think maybe a lot of it is kind of the challenge. Like, and Aquaman survived so many years in the comic books, partly because I think DC's editor-in-chief is always, whichever one they have, has always had a soft spot for Aquaman.
Yeah.
So that's number one. So that's why he keeps going. But also because I think there are a whole long list of people who are like, I can do this. Like, I can make the version that everybody loves. Like, I can make kind of a cool Aquaman kind of thing.
This is the only DC movie that I'm kind of like, I don't really have any problems. I don't see any problems with it because it's James Wan who did Saw, and he also did the latest Fast and Furious. Both of which, they're exactly what they need to be, and they're quite entertaining. And he seems to have a handle on it. Nobody's kind of quit or complaining or whatever. There's been rumors that he's going to quit, and he's quickly shot them down, and it's all moving forward. So this one actually might be the one to kind of break the mold.
How interesting, because it's lower stakes as well.
I guess
That's
it might
true.
be. Yeah, that's exactly it.
I guess that's also in 2008, like the first big Marvel movie was Iron Man, because nobody cared about Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like there were no they could make changes, they could cast whoever they wanted.
They could cast a well-known drug addict.
They could do that. Yeah, and so it was kind of the stakes were low.
It's hard to think about it like that now. Just in my head, I didn't know that they just got the leftovers basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nick taught me that on our podcast. that
We did a Marvel episode.
It's great. Yeah, people should listen to it.
they're pretty much the leftover characters that they hadn't sold off to stay afloat.
The ones they really nobody wanted.
Yeah,
the big studios.
amazing.
They wanted Spider-Man, they wanted X-Men, they wanted Daredevil, but they didn't want the Captain America Hulk. Hulk it's not important. But yes, it is amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then just because they've done them well, they've turned them into huge
it.
characters.
But the weird thing is, though, the Avengers from the Avengers movie, that's pretty much the original lineup in the comics as well. It's like,
That's true,
it's
yeah.
pretty close, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even with the same villain and everything.
So maybe the Avengers wouldn't happen if they didn't happen to have that little crew of characters.
That's exactly what I think it is, yeah.
Was the Avengers big before the movie?
Mason, what do you reckon?
No, not really. I would say no.
So good.
Yeah.
Nobody was kind of clambering to make an Avengers movie in the 90s, but they were always trying to do one version or another of the Justice League at some point, yeah. But there was a TV version. It's fucking terrible.
I've seen. Is that the one with Captain America on a motorbike?
No, that's
a different thing.
What's that one? What's that one from? The early 90s?
Yes, there's been a few
couple,
attempts. Yeah, there's a version. We've spoken about it years ago. There was a version of Captain America in the 40s where he doesn't have a shield. He's just got a gun. He's just a man with a gun running about. There's a version. Captain America's played by J.D. Salinger's kid.
Yes, He's got rubber ears on the outside of because they couldn't work out a way to kind of make his ears look okay. So they just stuck rubber ears to the outside of the mask. It's pretty great. And he's always stealing cars. That's what he pretends to be sick and then steals a car like twice in that movie.
That's the American way. Anyway.
Absolutely. Denis Villeneuve, who directed Sicario, he's doing the Blade Runner sequel. He's now on board for the Dune remake. Are you familiar with the Dune film or books or anything like that?
No.
We say it funny.
Dune.
June.
It's June, like sand dune.
June.
Yeah, like the month.
But not spelled the same. Don't make that mistake.
So Mason, what's this? You explained it, but you've read it or something or seen it, haven't you? I don't know.
I've attempted to read it many times.
Yeah.
Frank Herbert's Dune, real long series.
Yeah, man.
It's set on the planet Arrakis.
Yep.
Where it's a desert planet.
Is it the future or the past or whatever?
I don't think it's the future. I think it's an alien. It's a whole alien situation.
An alien. Gotcha.
I'm ready to be corrected on Twitter and emails. But it's a desert planet and it's hostile and it's filled and humans can't survive there naturally and there's these giant sandworms that try and eat you. But they need to go there to mine the spice. They need the spice so they can navigate through space because you need spice to navigate through space in the Dune universe. the Duneverse.
Spelled
It's
with a J,
spice.
yep.
Yeah. Mhm. What do you reckon about that, Matt? I
That
have an opinion
sounds-
on that thing I've just come up with now.
That sounds really good.
There was a movie.
Yeah, good.
I like
it's a-
spice.
Yeah.
There was
Name your favourite spices in order.
Okay, scary.
very good.
Got him.
Nice.
There was a movie in the 80s, early 80s, that David Lynch directed. It was like it was sort of a Star Wars knockoff. They were like, oh no, we can make this now. And it just didn't do well. People didn't understand it. And like, it's kind of got a cult following, but it's always been considered unfilmable and don't do it. But someone's doing it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I love someone filming the unfilmable.
that's it. So it's a good director, so it'll be fine or not. Who knows? The Runaways has been cast, Mason. That's one of your
right.
favourite things.
Yeah.
Here's the cast. Ariel Bauer.
Never heard of
stop
him
me when
or her.
you know someone. Laika Okano. Greg Sulkin. You can also stop me, Matt.
I've heard the
if
name.
you know these names.
I've heard the name Greg Sulkin, but I don't know who it is.
Okay, Sulkin. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, good. Virginia Gardner, Allegra Acosta. You love the Runaways, don't you?
Yes. So the Runaways, Matt, it's okay. Matt's looking very panicked. It's all right. We'll slow down. So you don't have to know any of those names. I don't know any of the names either. So one of the things when friends of ours listen to this podcast, often the first thing they say is, "I don't understand what you were talking about, but you seem to be having a good time."
We're often not, but
Yeah, that's right. We're good at faking it. So it's good to have a layman here. That's what I'm saying,
Absolutely.
and not an awful nerd. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
An awful layman.
Yeah. So the Runaways is a Marvel comic book series that was about these young kids, like teens, and they're all friends. They're brought to, well, they're not really friends. They're kind of strangers, and they're brought together because their parents all get together to like have a get together at a house. And then these kids all realize that their parents are supervillains.
That sounds awesome.
And they're all sort of, they've all gotten together not to have like have a fun get together, but they're there to sacrifice like a kid to gain more evil powers. And so all the kids realize this at once, and they all have to go on the run. And so they're like running through the Marvel universe trying to get help and try and, reveal that their parents are evil and that sort of thing.
Sounds so good.
It's a real good.
I've never read any of these.
Yes.
Are they well-known villains? Or are they kind of like...
No,
B-list
they're all
stuff?
new villains.
Oh, they're all new villains.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
cool.
it's not they're not like Doctor Doom's kids or anything like that. So
And the villains are just living in houses.
just like us.
What?
Yeah.
No lairs or anything.
They
So
probably
the
have
kids just
like a
didn't know.
subterranean bunker, I guess.
Oh, that
I
makes
assume.
sense,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Look, there's some. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's some lairs later on. Don't you worry about that.
Oh,
Thank
very
God.
good.
But they've got a summer house and they've got a winter lair. So anyway, I recognise maybe Allegra something.
Yeah,
don't
that sounded like something.
Seems like
Was
is she
that
a
the
pop
actor or
star?
the character?
Do you have links
They're-
there?
those are all actors.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna look up Greg Sulkin because I feel I recognise that name. Here we go. Oh, Greg with 2 G's. Hello. At age 10, he made his film debut in the 2002 Dr. Zhivago miniseries. That's where I remember him from. Not true. Not true at all.
Matt, you a Doctor Who fan at all?
No.
Okay, good. You'll love this then. Peter Capaldi is leaving Doctor Who.
Oh,
The
no.
latest Doctor Who. Yeah.
So isn't he the last one? Didn't they say early on that there was only going to be a certain amount, and this is the last one?
That's true. Yeah, there was a finite... Doctor Who's got like 13 regenerations. Is that right?
Yes.
And I think he might be the last one, but I think they've got to the point where they're just like, nah.
Yeah, they threw it
it's
at some
whatever.
point because we don't. Do you still, James? Do you still watch?
No, I'm off.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Will you get back to it though?
Nah. Well, Stephen Moffat's leaving,
Yeah.
who does the Sherlock TV series, and he does this current run of Doctor Who, and I feel that's kind of the reason I kind of went off. I like Stephen Moffat, but it's a lot of like Doctor Who wins because he's the best, and he does a thing at the 11th hour, and he remembered he could do a reverse thing and whatever, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff, yeah. So they kind of need some fresh blood in it. But,
Yeah. So I think at some point during the Doctor Who, like during the last couple of years of Doctor Who, they went, that rule doesn't apply anymore. If we want to have 1 million doctors, we can do it. It's totally fine.
People are saying female Doctor Who is next. Who
Fine.
knows?
Cool.
Or they always throw up a bunch of names. but it's-
Female doctor.
Believe it.
That's right. No.
But I always find with these things and like James Bond, they throw up a bunch of names and it's never any of them. It's always like somebody that they weren't even on anyone's radar. Anyway, enough of that, Mason.
No, wait. Well, let's bloody fantasy cast the new Doctor Who. Well, aren't they also saying that this might be the last season of Doctor Who?
No, they're going to do. It's a limited run, and then they're doing a Christmas episode, and then it's new creative team.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I've seen a few episodes with the new Doctor.
Yeah, I've seen a
I
couple.
don't mind him. It's pretty good.
No, I'm not against him either.
Uh-huh.
He's very cool, isn't he?
And he's a bit scatterbrained. Well, see, there are episodes of it where he's like, he's got his cool sunnies on and he's playing a cool guitar riff. Like there's one where he's on a tank playing a guitar.
That's the same episode.
Yeah.
I believe, yeah.
So there was efforts to be like, he's old but he's cool.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about that. But the later one, I've seen some of the later ones where he's just kind of old and scatterbrained, and I actually quite enjoyed those quite a bit.
That sounds better. The
Yeah,
guitar,
right?
I'm not picturing that well.
No, it's cringy. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm okay with bad TV, but I'm not okay with cringy TV, I think.
Right.
That's
Yeah. No,
my
I can
issue
understand
there.
that.
Is it always a British person?
Yes.
So who do you reckon it's going to be, Nick?
Oh.
There's talk that Matt Smith might come back,
Might be Matt Smith.
who was the previous one. Yeah. Who do you think?
Maybe Greg Sulkin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
From Dr. Zhivago.
From Dr. Zhivago,
Yeah, I know
yeah.
it, yeah.
Look, he's very good in TV series with Doctor in the title. Should do that.
He's perfect for it, yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Mason, we got to do an ad before we get onto the topic.
Okay.
Matt, do you mind if we do an ad?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
Sorry. Is it okay if we skip it this week? I hope it's for Loot Crate.
It's not for Loot Crate, unfortunately.
I hope it's for the shaving company.
It is
It
for
is
the
for the
shaving
shaving
company. So Harry's razors include everything you need for a close, comfortable shave. They've got a weighted ergonomic handle.
That's true.
5 precision engineered blades
Let me check. That's also true.
with the lubricated strip and trimmer blade. There's a rich lathering shaving gel and a travel blade cover. They're so confident in the quality of your blades that it's weird doing an ad when there's someone else here. So I feel like I'm pitching it to you.
Because we've just acknowledged the fact that we're doing we do ads. We just throw to an ad, but then when there's a real person on board,
Yeah,
they're
like,
what are you doing?
You're also looking at a couch of relatively non-razor bladed faces.
That's true. You don't do a bit of a tidy up, a bit of a trim?
I'm gonna now.
Sure,
you're gonna have to now. yeah.
I'm listening intently.
I'll cut you a
I might
check
get
on
it
the way
all
out.
off, to be honest.
What have we got here?
When was the last time you were completely clean shaven?
About 3 years ago for a wedding.
How did it feel?
People said I look like Milhouse from The Simpsons.
Wow,
So that didn't feel
were you
good.
wearing glasses?
Glasses, yeah.
Okay, right, yeah.
And I had blue hair and a big yellow nose. Oh, I had a big nose that remained.
Okay.
I think it's just because once you cut off the beard, the bigness of the nose really stands
Oh,
out.
I see, yeah.
Right. It's your defining feature.
Yeah.
Without the beard.
Here's a hot tip for everybody listening out there: never tell anybody who they look like, because it's never good.
What if it's like a good thing? Like, hey,
No, it's never good.
Never.
I once told a guy he looked like who plays Hulk again? What's his name?
Mark
Ruffalo?
Ruffalo?
Yeah, I told him he looked like Mark Ruffalo, and he took offense to that.
That's what I'm talking
He's
about.
a
I'm like,
Hollywood superstar.
you can't win.
No,
That's
you
what I
really-
said. I'm like, oh, sorry to tell you look like a Hollywood heartthrob.
Mad. Fuck that guy.
But this was in an era where we're still doing the ad. But
Sure, that's fine.
now I feel you could just go to a wedding with a bloody beard.
Yeah,
That's true, yeah.
I was told by the couple that they wish I didn't shave.
Because now you're in all those
And
Oh,
photos.
you did it. You
I was
panicked.
because I was a groomsman, right? And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to. 3 years ago, it was still a bit of a. It was on the edge of beards being accepted in
Totally.
society.
Yeah.
It's true.
And I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't have a beard because it's anything in particular. It's just I don't like
easy.
shaving because I've never used a Harry's shaver.
Absolutely.
There we go. We've done it. Brought it back to the ad. Yeah, and that's what makes you cool, Matt. That you don't care that you're cool or not cool.
Oh, that.
But to
oh.
be clear, you're not cool.
You look
but
like
that makes you
Milhouse.
cool, though. Yeah.
What do we got here?
Oh yeah, the ad.
Feels cool.
Also, they want you to try this shave set for free. So if you just cover the cost of shipping, they'll send you a trial kit. It's
Yeah.
$3, and then that's really good.
They're real good.
It is real good.
Yeah.
Matt, you don't have to say it's real good, but believe us when we say it's real good.
I want to meet this Harry guy.
He's
He
all right,
sounds like
isn't he?
the best guy.
He's so smooth. He's smooth all over. Let me tell you that.
If you go to harrys.com right now and enter the code weeklyplanet, one word, at checkout, you can get a post-shave balm free. That's Harrys, HARRYS.com, code weeklyplanet, one word.
us.
I reckon the post-shave balm is probably one of the key
Splash it on
ingredients
there.
to a good, yeah.
Agreed.
I think without that, it can be really, really tough. So Harry, he's looking after you before, during, and after the shave. Thanks, Harry.
Thanks, Harry. Oh, man. So we thought, in the spirit of John Wick being out this week and the Batman movie, they're amazing cinematic universes. Both of those movies aren't out in Australia this week. They're out everywhere else in the world inexplicably, except here. I don't know why.
Back to the dark old days when we had to wait for a movie.
Yeah.
No good.
Devastating. We thought we'd talk about best and worst universes from around the literature and whatever, movies, TVs, all of that stuff. Some of our favourites, some of our least favourites. Does anyone want to kick that off?
You do.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Okay, I got a list here. Do you guys like Stranger Things?
Yes.
There was a Ghostbusters photo. Did you see that this week?
Yeah.
So
That's
they're
exciting.
bringing that in.
Because it's coming out, it's set in the year of Ghostbusters.
What year is that?
84.
84. You
yeah.
big Ghostbusters fan?
No.
He's good with dates though.
Boy, are you. What'd you like about Stranger Things?
I don't know. I don't know what it was. Probably nostalgia.
Probably nostalgia. But I think it's more...
But I wasn't even alive then, so I don't know. I mean, I was. If I was, when was the first one set? It might be the year I was
82
born.
maybe? Yeah,
I was
yeah.
born in 83. So
Okay, yeah.
I don't know what it was, but it was something really, because I never played Dungeons and Dragons. It
Right,
was the
yeah.
first time I'd seen it.
Yeah, sure.
So I was like, I couldn't be nostalgic for it, but something about it was just amazing. And I love, that upside down. Oh no, I can't. You probably can't say something.
Spoilers for all this.
Okay,
Done.
great.
Blanket
Like the
cover.
upside down world and stuff, and just like going, what the fuck? What can you swear on this?
Absolutely.
What the fuck is going on with the
All right,
letters on
steady
the wall?
You get one, mate. All right.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I can't explain it, but I watched it so quickly.
Yeah.
I watched it in like 3 days.
Absolutely.
Which is really quickly for me.
I think it's not just I think part of it is the nostalgia. But you can't kind of live off nostalgia alone. That won't sustain a show. But I think you're absolutely right. There's more to it than just like, remember...
Yeah, because that's what
Halloween?
people have said. That people they're like, oh, it's just nostalgia and it's just a pastiche. I said
very
that
good.
funny, didn't I? But I'm
This
like,
guy.
I don't. All
Look, we
the
can swear, but none of your fancy $10 words, mate. All right.
people, I had read reviews of it, sort of bagging it out for being just like using old references and stuff. I'm
You can
like,
say pastiche. It's fine.
okay, great. Old references and stuff.
Yeah, nice.
It's fine as well, right? But I'm like, oh, all those old references you're talking about, I've never heard of, and I liked it still. So
Right,
what does
yeah.
that mean?
Yeah, look,
Absolutely.
I think you can sustain something solely on nostalgia. Like, every second BuzzFeed article is like, hey, remember these toys
Yeah.
from when you were a kid? kind
Feel
of thing.
old yet?
Yeah,
God,
exactly.
I hate
Yeah.
those, yeah.
But I
You're
think
a 90s kid if you remember these.
But
TV
I think
shows.
I think they definitely sold the idea as, hey, remember E.T.? Remember?
Yeah, remember Alien, remember whatever, yeah.
Uh-huh. But look, yeah, I think it's real solid. I don't know about this Ghostbusters connection. What are you guys talking
I think
about?
it's a picture of them in Ghostbusters outfits.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's Halloween.
Oh yeah, okay, right.
God, they look like the kind of outfit in the proton packs where like nobody could possibly have that in the 80s. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it looked very good.
Yeah.
It looked like they'd been to set and
Absolutely, yeah. Anyone got another one? Or is that it?
Yeah, we're done, I think.
Good. The best and worst is Stranger Things, yeah.
I think one of the things I like about Universe, it always blows me away. And that's why I always like talking to Meso and ask him lots of questions about stuff.
Sure.
I'm ready.
It's just like characters cross over from what seemingly are two separate universes,
Yeah,
and then all
yeah.
of a sudden, it's like, oh no, they're in the same universe. Oh my god.
Well, we should talk about the Tommy Westfall universe then.
Oh my
which
God.
is so. There was a TV series called Saint Elsewhere. It was set in a hospital. This was in the 80s, and in the final episode of the season, there was a young boy named Tommy Westfall. He was like a mentally disabled boy, and at the end of the episode, at the end of the final episode, you see that Saint Elsewhere, the hospital, is inside a snow globe, like on his bedside table, and so it's implied that the Saint Elsewhere, like this whole series took place inside his mind because he just saw the.
Because
the
aren't they
snow globe.
like, what's he even thinking?
Yeah,
This Tommy
exactly. Yeah.
whatever, yeah.
And so the entire series of Saint Elsewhere took place inside his mind, but also Saint Elsewhere had a number of crossovers with other TV series.
Oh my
so
God,
technically,
what a mind.
so technically everything all links together into the same the same universe. I'm bloody look it up right now.
It's like everything. It's like X-Files. It's like NYPD Blue. It's like The Mentalist, probably.
Yeah.
just all of them. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
Because you know how every kind of... I know there's a lot of kind of loose links in those 90s shows. Like Mulder and Scully would turn up in The Simpsons or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like
Well, one of the major links is Richard Belzer, who is he's in he's a American stand-up comedian, and he wears like he was in a lot of the Law and Order series. He's an American stand-up comedian. He's very sort of loud and opinionated. He wears these tiny little black sunglasses all the time, like even indoors and at night. And he was in the X-Files, and he was also in bloody Law and Order, and been in NYPD Blue, and so all those universes sort of link together.
Oh, as the same guy.
Yeah.
Wow,
so
that's
they all
cool.
exist in this kid's head.
That's ridiculous. There was Seinfeld, heard of that?
Vaguely, yeah, sure.
So Seinfeld was connected to Mad About You.
Yep.
Because Kramer, like, I think maybe Paul Reiser was his landlord or something.
Right, okay.
And Kramer talked about the comedian across the hall named Jerry.
That's amazing.
And then on another Mad About You episode, on a Friends episode, Helen Hunt's character from Mad About You thought Phoebe was Ursula from Mad About You, but then they're identical twins.
They're identical twin sisters.
Right.
So those three are connected, but then George Costanza watched an episode of Mad About You with Susan one time.
So the universe of Mad About You exists in the Seinfeld universe, but also as a television show.
So I don't know what that means. What does that mean, Nick?
What does it mean?
They're just trapped in hell. So St. Elsewhere characters appeared in Homicide: Life in the Street. So John Munch, who is Richard Belzer's character, he was on Homicide: Life in the Street. He was also in Law and Order. He was in SVU. He was in 326 episodes of SVU. He was in The Beat. He was in The X-Files. He made an appearance there.
Was he in Millennium?
He was not in Millennium.
Oh.
No. Millennium was the spin-off from The X-Files.
Yeah, so that still connects, right? It's the same universe.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's a good.
I never
one.
really understood. I never understood the X-Files universe.
It's so bizarre.
I never understood the underlying conspiracy theory, because the idea was that it was, every week they found a weird mythical, a mythical creature or a mythical scenario which we all thought was just a legend or an urban myth or what have you, but it turned out to be real. But there was also this underlying plot where these aliens had previously attempted to invade Earth, and then they'd made an agreement with the world's governments to acquire people to turn into mutants or something.
Yeah.
It involved aliens and bees and black oil.
There was a werewolf.
There was a werewolf at times.
There was a tick man, a leech man, a human leech man. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why they bring, like, because they bring a lot of stuff back.
I started watching the original stuff when it was coming back out.
Yeah.
My partner loves it.
How'd it hold up for you?
I've watched the first season and I enjoyed more than I didn't.
That's saying something, because that's like an early 90s kind of show. Yeah.
There were some episodes like, what was the point of that? There was one episode that was like a man was living in the forest. And it was just like a forest man.
Yeah.
And then it's just like there was one really long chase scene in an abandoned factory.
Was he murdering people?
I don't think so.
He was just living in the forest. What kind of man live in the forest?
It was
Leave him alone.
Because we remember all the episodes where there was a guy who could shapeshift, and we remember the guy who
the
could
fat-sucking vampire.
Yeah, we remember the guy who could squeeze through all the ducts and stuff, but we never remember just the guy who lived in a forest. I feel you can always tell when the budget has run out for a season.
Yeah.
When they're like, we're going to solve the mystery of a guy and he works at the supermarket and he's kind of cranky to people. Is he a monster? No, he's just a guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And we're trapped in the like one small area of the supermarket
exactly,
for the whole episode.
Yeah.
I think that show, it kind of did stretch itself in terms of what is in that universe. Because it's literally everything. It's vampires and aliens and werewolves and monsters and time travel. And they did time travel, didn't they?
Yeah, they
Fairly
did.
certain they
there was
did,
one where, or maybe it was all in the mind. There was one where something about a ship.
Yes, that's exactly the one
That's what you get here
at
at this podcast. You get knowledge bombs. There was an episode on a ship that may have involved time travel. Okay, so what's a weirder universe, James? Because you're familiar with both. What's a weirder universe? The X-Files universe or the Supernatural universe?
Oh, they're the same. They're the same.
No, but
they've all got the same
which
shit.
which do you find harder to buy? Do you find it harder to buy that there's two FBI agents investigating the weird, or do you find it harder to buy that there are two dudes just driving around killing monsters?
I think the FBI is less likely because the amount of times that Mulder gets fired or his office burns down or whatever, that keeps happening to him, and they keep rehiring him, and then he's on the run, and then he's the most wanted man in America, and then they just give him his badge back. But in Supernatural, which is a great show, sort of.
Still going?
Yeah, I'm 2 seasons behind. I'm waiting till it all comes on Netflix and I can check out where I'm up to. But yeah, it's these two brothers who are on the run from the law and they pretend that they're FBI agents or CIA, whatever, and then they just kill monsters across America, which I enjoy that universe. I think it's cool. Yeah. I think they've built the mythology better, like they're dealing with demons and angels and whatever. But X-Files is more scattershot, but this kind of builds...
Guy lives in the forest.
Yeah, that's right. But Supernatural, or like their story arcs build to... Even if it's not a great story arc, it always builds towards a thing. Like Satan's going to be released from hell or whatever. Like even if it's not great,
that's big.
That's a big thing.
That's a big one.
That's season 5, man. So
Bloody
yeah.
hell.
And you think that would be the end, but it was not the end.
Well, it was supposed to be, and then they did
Right.
another 6 or whatever it is. I don't think it got any better than that. But no, it's a solid show, man. It's good. Yeah, and they're very handsome. They're handsome boys, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
That is true, yeah. That is something that's definitely got going for it. It's probably similar. Buffy universe is probably similar.
Right, yeah. Were you guys...
Yeah.
I never watched it.
I watched it, yeah, back in the day, and probably since. Yeah, I really like Buffy.
Does that count? Like, do you love the Angel universe as well? Did you watch
Yeah,
them all?
I preferred the Angel universe for a while.
Okay,
but
yeah.
I think I went back to liking Buffy because it's darker, you know.
Sure, absolutely.
There
Spike.
I don't remember there ever being any sun. I guess that's probably because of the vampire lead. But
That may be it, yeah.
yeah. But that was I like that whole world.
Right. Spike in that episode, in that series, he had a chip in his brain that made him good. Was that right?
I'll break it down for you.
Please.
No, so I went through high school as the characters from Buffy went through high school, so I graduated the same year they all graduated.
Sweet.
So they're my guys.
Even though they're probably all 10 years older than you.
Yes,
That's how it
exactly.
works,
Yeah. What was? Oh, we'll talk about it later. Why don't we talk about it now? Why not? We got plenty.
Doesn't matter. Whatever you want.
If we're talking about TV shows where set in high school where all the characters are 35, Riverdale is out on Netflix.
No, they're all young.
What?
Archie's 19.
They look very old.
There's a lot of abs.
Yeah, there's so many abs.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later. What
Yeah.
are we talking about?
You
X-Files.
were explaining...
I was sure you're going to bring up
Buffy.
Beverly Hills 90210.
Well, interestingly,
Crossover.
Luke Perry is in... Is it Luke Perry?
It's Luke Perry,
Luke
yeah.
Perry is in Riverdale. So
As a high school student.
He's 50 now, which means he was like maybe 30 when that show was around.
Yeah. There was a few like late 20s, early 30s.
I just remember the lines in his forehead.
Yeah.
It's been like, no, that's not.
they are deep trenches now. He's looking great, but you know.
Yeah. Well, he's 50. I mean, he looks good for 50, but yeah. Anyway, you were saying
Buffy.
Spike.
He was also in the Buffy movie.
He was
like
too.
the movie,
Yeah.
like the movie without Sarah Michelle
Yes.
Gellar. Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah,
I haven't
that's that
seen
one.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was totally different.
Okay.
And
Pee-wee
'cause
Herman's in it.
Joss Whedon,
Yeah.
like I think he hated it how it turned out.
Oh, okay,
I
right.
think that was why he ended up doing the TV series or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sort of languishing in obscurity for just doing these TV series that didn't really rate well for a really long time, and then Avengers, and then
Yeah.
bloody...
And
good on
then
him.
another Avengers movie. He did two, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah. Anyway, Spike had a chip in his
Oh,
head.
sure, right. So anyway...
Did Spike and Buffy get together as
Yeah.
well? But also Angel, she was with Angel
Yeah,
at some
Spike
point.
and Angel, yeah.
Oh, good. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. So Spike was one of the evil vampires in the series.
Right.
He was one of Angel's compadres back in the day when they were both evil and killing. And then Angel was cursed by gypsies. I don't think you can say gypsies anymore.
I'll bleep it out.
Okay, great. And he got his soul back and he became good and sort of racked by all the evil he'd done in his life, and he was real sad about it all the time. But Spike remained evil and he came to Sunnydale in season 2, I think. But then a couple of seasons later, he was captured by like a military team called the Initiative, who put a chip in his brain so he couldn't act out on any of his violent impulses anymore.
Or that kill him, or he just couldn't do it.
No, he got incredible pain anytime he attempted to like kill anybody.
Who sets the moral barometer there? Like, can he not jaywalk?
The government.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what's the line?
Oh, probably murder.
Yeah,
I think it's
so he
murder.
can push an old lady down some stairs, but he can't.
Oh, if he knows it's not going to kill her.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
As long as his fangs aren't out.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
cool.
right, yeah.
That's the line.
Fair
Yeah.
game.
But then he got hit in the head, and in a fun coincidence, he could only kill demons after that. So he could only kill the bad guys.
Oh, that is a fun coincidence.
Isn't it though?
It's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. James Cameron said recently that he thinks the Alien universe is played out because we've had Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, Alien vs. Predator twice, Prometheus, and now a Prometheus sequel. And he's like, I think they should let it go because he did the second one. He did Aliens. Are you guys sick of the Aliens universe? Do you think it's something they should let go?
Look, I would be if I'd ever seen any of them.
Watch
Would
the
you
first
recommend?
two.
Yeah.
First two are great. Alien and Aliens, really
I've heard,
good.
yeah, they're like
Yeah.
just classic movies,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
I should probably see them.
You don't have to. It's fine.
I'm going to go do it.
Do
Good,
it.
good. You should also watch the first Predator and then Alien vs. Predator 2, which a lot of people maintain is bad, but I think is very good.
Ah.
Well, not good.
I
It's
like
not
it
good.
when someone gets on board something that everyone universally hates.
Yeah.
That's the best.
we
That's
might
when
have-
you really believe.
We might have a letter about it later, Mason, directed at you specifically.
nice,
Not that, but something that you love that people hate.
Oh, yeah.
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 But no, I don't know if that universe is done necessarily. Prometheus was a weird fucking mix of nonsense, but I don't know if it's done entirely.
I don't think it is done. I think
James Cameron's making 5 Avatar movies and he's talking about getting
yeah,
rid of
that universe is done. What else can they do with it?
underwater.
Matt, I'm accusing you.
I find it's weird when someone says like that they don't have anything to do with it. It's like none of your business, basically. Don't worry about it. You don't have to watch them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah, it's weird that you haven't. I mean, maybe he should because he made one, but it feels like, yeah, why?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He doesn't need to take a shot, but he did say that he'll watch anything that Ridley Scott makes. So he did kind of he did make that clear that, maybe there is some life in it or whatever. But he's also bringing back the Terminator universe. So if you're familiar with those films, you've probably seen some or
I have seen some.
Yeah,
of those.
some of them.
I've seen
Yeah,
the first two.
yeah.
That's all you need, really.
Do you guys like an alternative history kind of movie? Like, we're talking about universes, aren't we?
Yeah, in a vaguest possible sense.
Like
sure.
Forrest Gump, that universe, he's just gone through time and just kind of inserted himself into key events.
Yeah,
and,
I find that really fun.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
find that fun.
absolutely.
I
yeah.
liked what was that Brad Pitt movie where he killed Hitler? Or
Oh, yeah, that's
That's
the
fun, like-
bloody...
Inglourious Basterds.
Yeah,
That was-
totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So supposedly the Tarantino verse, like all the movies in the Tarantino's directed, are in the same universe.
No, some of them are, but some of them are movies.
Oh,
within
okay,
the-
right.
Yeah.
So the basic premise is that the universe, the Quentin Tarantino universe is a universe that's like ours, but it's slightly more. Well, it's quite a lot more violent, and like people think violence is more acceptable in that universe. Like it's okay to just cut a guy's ear off or what have you, and that's because in this universe, Hitler didn't die in a bunker. He was machine gunned to death in a theater that was then set on fire.
And it was the greatest victory.
It's the greatest victory of all time. And so people are like, yes, that's the way to go. Let's just... And so all the movies are more violent and then the universe itself is more violent.
Is this a fan theory or is this
No, he's come out and said...
so
that's-
good.
I don't know if he said that specifically, but he has said that, no, this universe is all connected.
So the vampires from Dusk Till
Dusk Till
Dawn
Dawn.
Oh, man, I
are in a
didn't think
movie
of that.
or are they,
Did he direct
are they
that?
vampires?
I don't know if he did.
Oh,
Did
maybe
he?
he didn't.
I'll look that up just
I
quickly.
thought he
Please do.
But can you explain how some of the movies exist as movies?
Okay, sure. So let me think now. Okay, so in Pulp Fiction, Uma Thurman's character says that she was in a movie or a TV series called Fox Force 5, which is about a group of sexy ladies who are also killers, and they have they each have their own individual killing skill. That essentially is all the characters in Kill Bill. So Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction played a fictionalized version of the bride in Kill Bill, and like all the people she kills all the other women she kills in Kill Bill are presumably her compatriots in what was Fox Force 5.
Wow.
And Death Proof and Planet Terror is a movie that plays in the Pulp Fiction universe. I don't know if you remember those ones. There were like these intentional B movies they made in the early 2000s. They're not very good. Well, some people like them, but Yeah, Dusk Till Dawn, screenplay by Quentin Tarantino, but Robert Rodriguez directed
Oh,
it.
right,
Yeah.
okay.
It's I wouldn't be surprised if it was still connected. So you mentioned the World War II thing. I love anything that's like, what if kind of the Nazis won? Because that's my dream, obviously.
Oh no!
No, but one show
And now
that
you're trapped in the room. You've had to promote Harry Shavers against your will, and oh dear.
Harry's also a Nazi.
That's right. But there's been a few video games, like some of the Wolfenstein games, where it's if World War II went a different direction, and the Allies didn't win. I know Man in the High Castle. You've seen that, haven't you, Mason?
Yeah, I'm on Amazon Video.
It's
right?
great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so it's alternate version of history where the Nazis won, and then there's still this underground resistance kind of fighting this ongoing war, which is apparently it's very good. I should watch it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will.
Good.
Yeah, so
Good.
I love any kind of alternate history like that. And Mason loves the Loopy universe, don't you, Mason?
No, I hate it. That doesn't count. That's only one movie. I hate it. I was going to say the DC universe used to have a parallel universe called Earth X, where World War II never ended. So
is that the one where Superman and Batman are Nazis?
no, that's a different parallel universe where World War II never ended. So World War X, the regular superheroes don't exist, but there's America is being defended by Uncle Sam and the Freedom Fighters. So there's a superhero called Uncle Sam. He's the guy from the.
Is he got the?
Yeah, he's got the
I want
beard and the hat. Yeah, he's got
Did I want you?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah,
I want you.
Yeah, that's right. That's his catchphrase.
Is he an old
In
man,
bars and
or is he
stuff.
like a real muscular dude?
No, he's an old man, but America's belief in him makes him super strong
Oh,
and indestructible.
no.
Does it ever
When was this
wane and-
made?
He's still
Was this made during a big war?
no, I don't think it was. It was
That's
like the
weird.
70s. I'm gonna double check on that, but
There
I'm
was a
pretty
few-
sure.
there's
But
got a
Got a
those,
real
charac-
propaganda
those
vibe
characters
about
are
it.
still around. Yeah.
A lot of the times, though, the comics they make a real political message in terms of what's going on at the current time. Because Captain America what war was it where he gave up being Captain America because they were kind of against what was happening at that period in time?
Probably the 70s.
Probably
Where he
Vietnam.
became, I think it was Vietnam, where he became Nomad.
That's
because
right.
Marvel are like, we're against this and whatever.
Okay,
so
Uncle
this
Sam
is
and the
our-
Freedom Fighters first appeared in 1973. So,
There you go.
yeah. Oh, you know what? They were acquired from a different comic book company. That makes sense.
None of it
Okay.
makes sense, Mason.
No, none of it. You're right. None of it makes sense.
Did I read? And this is a vague question, so hopefully your super abilities will be able to answer it. But I think I read that there's another, because in my head there are two comic book companies.
Sure, yeah.
But Nick's told me there's more than that.
There's at least 3.
Okay, great. And then apparently one of them is about to start their own cinematic universe.
Oh, the Valiant
Valiant
universe.
universe, yeah.
And I'd never heard of any of the things. Is that
Yeah, yeah.
exciting or?
For me, it is.
It
Yeah.
depends kind of what they kind of do with it. I think it could really be. Yeah, it really could be something.
Yeah, so Valiant's a universe that's existed for years and years and years, and some of the characters have been around for they acquired from like decades. Like there's a character called Magnus Robot Fighter. He's fought robots for many years. Turok, Dinosaur Hunter. These kind of characters.
What's he do?
The video game.
Yeah,
That's the same. Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah.
There you go.
Turok's been around for like 50 years.
Since the N64 era,
Yeah,
when he was on
since
that.
the
yeah.
N64, yeah. But Valiant sort of, it's a whole bunch of characters that were popular sort of in the 90s. Then the company went out of business. It was bought by a video game company. Then that video game company went out of business, and then it was reacquired by just some idle billionaire who runs it now. So they're all back.
It's all up and coming. I know Valiant have been pushing a lot of like comic book YouTubers to talk about their stories to kind of get them out there. So in a few years we're just going to get an influx of these. Who knows how it'll go? But they've got some great characters, so it could absolutely work.
Yeah, it could be like like you're saying, the Marvel Cinematic Universe they weren't household names before it started.
Exactly.
So
True, yeah.
It could go that way.
No,
I guess if they do it well.
You bloody can't escape them. You a fan of the Pixar universe and how we found out they're recently all connected and whatever?
Yeah, I love that.
Is that
Yeah.
official?
I
though?
love any
Yes.
connection.
Is it
things.
official,
I love
really?
it.
Is it official though?
I think because they released a whole lot of information how like Dory's the toy and a different one and whatever, and it's all vaguely connected. Like there might be like a picture of the girl from Brave, and I don't know, because sometimes maybe there's storybook characters that exist in that universe. There's a Finding Dory plush toy in Monsters Inc., but does that mean that Finding Dory is a story in that universe, or that's just a fish plush toy? I don't know.
It's very much like the Tarantino universe.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Yes.
the Cars universe is bizarre because that's kind of stands separately. And isn't there that theory that it's the post-apocalyptic future where the cars have taken over and destroyed humanity?
Well, there's no humans.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There's no humans, so why do the cars need doors? Why do they need any kind of human anything? 'Cause they're cars, you know what I mean?
They're cars.
They're cars.
I know.
There's also a theory that they are like they're human car hybrids. Like it's a kind of a Matrix kind of situation.
That's how
where
we've evolved beyond human form. Into car
that like
form.
the environment is now it's a post-apocalyptic future where the world has been destroyed and humanity can't survive, but the only people who did survive were like street racer type characters who basically lived in their cars, and then science evolved to the point where people were being bred and then immediately like put into like a car shell so they could
like a Dalek.
like a Dalek, exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't invent this theory, but I love it.
Sounds like you did.
Great
Yeah.
theory.
They're not great movies though, are they?
The Cars.
yeah. I'm not a huge fan.
I've missed them.
Yeah, no. The third one looks kind of interesting, but no.
No, it looks like a return to classic Disney movies, which is they're all really sad.
Yeah, man.
Because the third one is Lightning McQueen, who's the main guy from Cars.
Yeah.
Isn't he horrifically damaged in an accident? Or like
something like that. It's a rehab movie.
Oh yeah, you hate Disney movies.
hate him.
He does.
Hate him.
I
They're
forgot
no good.
about that.
All the new run of Disney movies, like your Tangled, Moana, Frozen, they're all connected. In Frozen, you see the characters from Tangled. At the start, though, have you guys seen Frozen?
No, I haven't seen Frozen.
Frozen's okay.
I've heard Moana.
Yeah, I
is
watched
great.
it yesterday. It's great. It's really good.
gotta
It's
check it
really
out.
and Tangled is a bit of a gem, bit of a hidden gem.
Which
if I'm
one's
honest.
Tangled? Is
Tangled's-
that the Scottish?
No, that's
Redhead?
Brave. That's
Oh,
a
it's Brave.
Pixar
I've seen
one.
that one.
But
Oh, that's a
I haven't
different
seen
thing
that. Yeah, it's a different thing.
altogether.
Yeah. Though they're both Disney. Yeah, Disney are kind of they've got Pixar, but they've also got their own animation division as well, which is going on at the same time, and they're all kind of loosely connected. Yeah.
I love connections.
Yeah.
Have I mentioned that? I don't know if I mentioned
so
that.
good. They're so good. Love a little reference.
Absolutely.
I read a theory last night
Yeah.
about Simpsons and Futurama,
Right. Yeah.
and there's an episode where they cross over, but then there's a whole comic series where
Yeah.
they were together, and there's a theory that in the Futurama world, Farnsworth sends the Simpsons back. So something happens, and all the literature comes to life in the Futurama world.
Right.
And then, it gets
This
crazy.
is from the comic.
Yeah, and then they send them all back, but the Simpsons don't go back, and maybe he sent them back in time, and that's why the Simpsons world is what it is, and why there's,
okay.
the Springfield in every episode is basically set up differently. Sometimes their house is next door to the power plant. Sometimes there's a forest in the backyard.
Yeah, George Bush is across the road in a
Yeah,
mansion
in a
or
mansion
whatever.
which is not normally there.
Yeah.
And that's because there's so many different... So they sent back all the different versions of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
So there's just heaps of different Simpsons in the Simpsons world
And
now.
they don't age as well. And
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's been all different timelines. Like Bart's been born a few different times in different eras.
Yeah.
And, Homer's... Like high school's been in different times, and
right.
well,
Yeah.
that's because every time we watch it, it's a different version of The Simpsons.
That's amazing. I really like that.
Yeah, it was an article from a couple of years ago on one of those silly websites. But I'll, I should have.
You'll link it below
read
for
better.
people.
Yeah, we'll link it below for people. We will, me and you.
That's right. Yeah. And Family Guy's also in one of those universes because there is that crossover.
That's
as well,
right.
Yeah.
And I think that there's crossovers of a bunch of different stuff through The Simpsons, and then there's that weird stuff
The
like
X-Files.
Ricky X-Files. Yeah, Ricky Gervais has been on as a character, but also as himself.
Yes. Yeah.
And stuff like that, and they're yellow.
yes.
Whereas
What the hell?
Futurama people aren't yellow, so why are they yellow?
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh wow. That's a really good point.
Look, a lot of that was very messy, but I've
No,
got all
that-
these things in my brain.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what we want.
Get them out.
Love
Get them
it.
out. Put them on wax forever. That's what I say.
Now, this isn't so much a shared universe or whatever, but I've always found the Men in Black movies interesting, but they kind of fuck them up quite a bit. But our universe is in, if you remember the end of that movie, our universe is inside a marble, in a
Yes.
bag of marbles of other universes.
Right, yeah, I do
So
remember
that's kind of interesting to me. But also, we've got tiny universes within our universe, which presumably then have more universes within them. So it just goes in and out forever.
Dude,
but-
did it blow your mind?
Yeah, not really. But
My
also,
brain just grew by a millimeter.
but also in the second one, Earth is inside a locker in an alien airport or something. Do you guys remember that?
I don't remember.
They tried to do
I've
the
definitely
same
seen
thing.
that, but I don't remember.
They tried to do the same thing because at the start of the movie, you see, or during the movie, they open a locker in an airport, and there's a whole alien civilization living in there. And and then when they open it, they're like, "Oh, the gods have come to visit," or whatever. And then at the end, Tommy Lee Jones is like, "Watch this," and he opens a door, and then it just looks like this giant alien airport. So Earth is also inside a giant alien airport somehow.
So Earth is inside a giant alien airport, but that airport is still within the universe, which is in that little marble.
Yeah.
Levels, man.
Yeah.
Man.
So I don't.
What were they bloody smoking when they wrote that movie? Am I right? Am I right?
Invention,
Am I right?
Ricky Gervais, invention of lying. I know it's only one movie, but that universe is bizarre. For what's your reasoning behind it being that
Have you
way?
seen the movie The
I
Invention
have.
of
I
Lying?
really didn't enjoy it at all.
Yeah, that's-
Same.
We're all on the
Because
same
it's
page.
a movie that is it's a universe that's exactly like it's an Earth that's exactly like our Earth, but nobody can lie. So how did we get to that point?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How would that universe be exactly the same as ours?
Yeah.
If you couldn't lie.
Also, it's not just lying. It's you say whatever's on your mind. Like you could not say to someone, "Hey, you're fat." But that's like when you don't say that to somebody, that's not a lie. You just choose not to be an asshole.
Yeah, otherwise you'd be saying things all the time. There's a door over there. Look at that screen. Oh, there's paper on the table.
That's right. Yeah. So that universe is. I don't think they thought that through.
And it also wasn't funny.
That was also
There was one joke in that movie, I think.
What was the one joke?
There's one joke. Somebody in the crowd says
the
something.
mansion joke.
It's ADR'd in later, I think.
Right. Yeah.
What was
They
the joke?
realised they had to add a joke in.
Yeah.
It was. Ricky
Technically, this isn't a comedy; it's a war crime. So, if we had a joke, though, it becomes a movie.
Ricky Gervais's character is inventing he's giving out the commandments because he invents God in this universe.
'Cause
where there
God's
is
not
no
real.
God's not real. I don't know if you guys know this, but Ricky Gervais is an atheist. Has he ever
I haven't
mentioned
picked
it?
that up.
Yeah, but what is it? So Ricky Gervais goes, when you go to heaven, whatever mansion you think of, that's where you'll live. And a guy goes, "Oh, I was thinking of a bad mansion." Or whatever, so
That's the joke.
That's the joke.
That's the
yeah.
joke in that movie.
Yeah,
It's good.
So
That's not bad.
It's
Yeah,
a
it's
pretty
pretty
good
good.
joke.
It's a pretty
Yeah.
good joke.
Maybe we should give that movie another chance.
He was also the two officers are connected.
They
as well,
are
'cause
absolutely, yeah.
He was in. David Brent came to the American.
He meets
office.
Michael Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you guys see the David Brent movie?
No.
No,
Yeah, I saw it. I watched it.
I mean I like the character. I wonder if it was good.
It's fine. It's okay. Yeah.
Every time we talk about Ricky Gervais, I live in fear that he'll attack us. Like he'll find out.
Because of what happened to your friend.
Oh,
was
was it Roland?
Yeah, our friend
So
Roland.
funny.
Because maybe it's somebody else as well. Like any.
Have we mentioned this here? You've mentioned on other podcasts.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah,
Yeah.
like a friend of ours said something mean about Ricky Gervais. Didn't tag him in.
Yeah.
But just
But you're really just using him for a joke. It was,
Yeah.
it could have been any name, I think.
Yeah, I
don't
think
think
so,
it was
yeah.
really having a go at him. It was just
yeah.
need an example of a celebrity.
It was
Yeah.
about talking funny, wasn't it?
Oh, okay.
no,
It was
it
very
was, you're right.
specific. It was
Yeah.
very
Very specific
specifically
dig at
having a
Ricky
go at
Gervais.
Ricky
Yes, very, very specific dig. But apparently Ricky...
He said, what did he say though? It was something like, "My dream is not to be Ricky Gervais in
talking funny. There we go. You know.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is a very specific.
It's a very
Yeah.
specific burn on Ricky Gervais. But apparently Ricky Gervais searches his name on Twitter and then has a go at people who have a go at him mostly by saying how rich he is.
Yeah, I think it was something like, yeah, well, I made money out of that, so questions.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, what? I mean, if you're content in yourself and you're rich, which, well, he obviously is rich. Do you care if someone's like, I don't like this specific thing? You
I
do?
wouldn't be searching for it.
No, well,
if I
that's
was
right,
him,
yeah.
I certainly would not be searching
Yeah.
my name on
That's
Twitter.
that's a good point
Because he wasn't tagged in.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
would be if Roland had tagged him in. That would be like a bit mean and asking for him to fire back.
Yeah.
But he wasn't doing it for him to see it.
No, that's right.
This
yeah.
was just for Roland's 1,000 followers or
yeah,
whatever.
absolutely. And you know what? It's a great joke as well.
Yeah. And I think everyone should try and live that way.
Yeah.
Matt, do you have any weird questions? Do you have any comic book universe questions?
Oh.
Don't have to think of one now.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
I can
we'll
tread.
segue into
I
one
can,
naturally.
Great.
I'll edit this part out. It'll seem seamless when you have a question.
Do you edit much? I mean, you'll edit this
I do
bit
a
out.
little bit of tweaking.
No, we'll
but
keep this in.
It's, no, yeah, mostly I just listen through it.
Like when I called Harry a Nazi, because I've been feeling guilty about it ever since.
It's fine. You're absolutely allowed to.
Okay,
But
great.
well, how about this while we're treading water? Smallville and Gotham are universes where all the villains and characters in those in the Batman Superman universe exist, but the main character isn't who they're supposed to be yet. So Superman fights all these villains, but he's not yet Superman. He's still Clark Kent. And in Gotham, there's a kid Bruce Wayne, but there's a version of the Joker and
There's a
Harley
version of the
Quinn
Riddler
and Riddler and whatever. So it's these bizarre universes where all these things are going on, but the main character isn't there yet.
Have you ever watched any of those series, Matt?
I haven't.
You don't
no.
have to. It's not a requirement.
They're the kind of things that I love the idea of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
We don't watch
yeah.
them either,
So
yeah.
Smallville originally DC wanted a TV series about Bruce Wayne going around the world, sort of training to be Batman, like as like a young man. Like I'll go and I'll learn karate from this guy and more karate from this guy and judo from this guy, or whatever. But that is, you have to build a whole. You either have to film it around the world or you have to build a whole bunch of new sets every week, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, well, how about we just take a show and we'll set it in one town. And so they got Smallville, which was Clark Kent growing up in high school, just with his wacky friends. But there were some weird restrictions on it. Apparently the rule was they could never show him in the Superman. So he could never,
the very last.
it was the very last,
episode,
yeah. So they could never have him become Superman. But at a certain point, they're like, okay, well, we've got to introduce some villains and we've got to introduce some other characters. So in the DC universe, like Superman's supposed to be one of the the earliest superheroes. But in this TV series, we got Black Canary and we got Cyborg and we got Stargirl and we got Hourman, maybe. We got all these obscure.
Hourman.
Yeah. We got all these more obscure, and Aquaman, and we got all these more obscure, all of whom were in costume and had names, but he was still just Clark Kent, just running about in his t-shirt and jeans. It was odd. It was an odd series.
It was one of the greatest series ever made. I didn't watch it. I stopped
The
watching.
entirety of the series, he was called the Smallville Blur.
Yeah.
Or wait, the Kansas Blur?
Something like that.
Metropolis
And
Blur.
then
He was always just called the Blur.
yeah. And
He was
had
never
like
called Superman.
the closest he came to the costume before his actual costume was like a black trench coat and like a silver S or something like that.
And he never flew
And
either.
oh no, he did eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes someone else would take over his body and then they would fly, but then he didn't know how to do it. It's a great show.
It's not a good show.
But that exists in the same, like it exists in the same universe, but just not in the same. What do you call them? Continuums?
Yeah.
It's a parallel universe to the existing DC universe.
Right.
So what might happen from time to time, maybe in the comic books, somebody will get a glimpse into all the unlimited universes that are out there, and there'll be like a little version. You'll see the Tom Welling, the actor who played Clark Kent in Smallville. You might see a little picture of him, just to show they're all in the same multiverse.
Right.
Yeah. And go ahead.
Does DC kind of have a plan for all that stuff? You know, like when a show that I did watch was Lois and Clark
Oh yeah,
Right,
sure,
yeah.
yeah. Uh-huh.
with Terry Hatcher and
Dean Cain.
Yeah.
Cain.
So Dean Cain plays Supergirl's adoptive father in the new Supergirl series.
And Terry Hatcher's joining as a villain.
Oh, there you go.
Apparently, yeah.
Right.
But no, they don't. So DC.
And they're all connected. We should briefly mention that because otherwise people will say, I can't believe we didn't mention Arrow, Arrow and The Flash and that they're all connected. They're all one universe. And yeah.
So the DC universe, it started as one universe, and then they were like there was some continuity issues because Superman and Batman started fighting crime in the 40s, and then after like a couple of decades, people were like, why is it Batman doesn't get any older? Why doesn't this and that? And so they were like, well, let's say there's two universes. So in the first universe, which we're going to call Earth 2, Superman and Batman started fighting crime in the 40s. But in the second universe, which is Earth 1, they started fighting crime in the modern day. And at some point we switched over. So then there were like two universes. And so they're like, and then they could have them cross over. So sometimes the old Batman and Superman would meet the new Batman and Superman. They would go to different universes. They would team up.
But it's the same guy,
Yep,
but just
a different era.
different era.
Yeah, no explanation. They never go back that far. They're like, well, there's 2 universes and one, the blah blah blah, but they never explain why.
So one of them is just current day, or whatever the current day is.
Yes, yeah,
That's Earth 1.
that's Earth 1. And so then they were like, well, if we have 2 universes, why don't we have 3 universes? So they invented Earth 3, which is a universe in which all the good guys are actually bad guys. So Superman's Ultraman.
Yeah, I kinda
he's
like that
evil,
one, yeah.
And the only hero in that universe is Lex Luthor, who's actually a good guy.
Because he's the only one left.
He's the only one, yeah.
Everyone else is dead.
And then they were like, well, if we have 3 universes, why don't we have 4 universes? So they acquired a company called Charlton Comics, and they got all their characters. So that was Earth 4. And then there was Earth X, where World War II never ended. And there was Earth S, which is where Captain Marvel lives. And then eventually they're like, you know what? There's infinite number of universes.
Yeah, there's a multiverse.
Yeah, and so in the DC universe, they're like, well, there's an infinite number of universes. And then after a couple of years, they're like, this is way too complicated. So they had a crossover called the Crisis on Infinite Earths, in which they erased all the universes. They destroyed them all except for one. And then they're like, actually, this is kind of restrictive. So we're going to reintroduce a new system of the multiverse called Hypertime. And then they're like, this doesn't make any sense. So we'll destroy that, and now we'll just say there's 52 alternate universes, and then I think they destroyed that. Some of them got destroyed. I don't know how many there is right now, if I'm honest with you.
Look, I feel like I'm up to date now.
Yeah,
mate.
I feel
get it.
we're all
I
up
feel
to
like
date.
I get it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting the difference between how they treat their canon or whatever, and Star Wars was just like, we're just going to wipe everything apart from
Yeah, the main movies.
the main movies.
Yeah.
But they're like, well, no, we'll write it in where we explode the universe.
Yes, exactly. That's why I always like. That's something that I've always really like. It's super confusing. Like if you tried to draw out somebody's continuity or their life story, their backstory, it would make no sense. But I like the idea that basically what happened is that there was an infinite number of universes, and they're like, well, let's have a villain who gains more power every time he destroys a universe. So he's like, I'm going to destroy every universe. And and then the heroes stop him when there's only one left. Right. Convenient, right?
That is quite
so
convenient.
I like
Too convenient.
Yeah. So I like the fact
me.
that DC builds that in, but at the same time, stop doing it, DC. Stop doing it. Stick with the
They're
universe.
never going to stop doing it.
Yeah.
It's going to happen forever.
Recently, have you ever seen that movie Watchmen? Did you see Watchmen?
I've seen most of it.
Great, that'll do. So basically,
Then you're ready for this.
yeah. So the characters from Earth 4, they were rewritten as the characters from Watchmen, which is a separate universe to the DC universe. So they redrew them and renamed them, and they were like, okay, these characters are now it's a separate universe, and then they created the Watchmen comic book series and then the movie. So recently, when they rebooted the DC universe the last time, they were like, you know whose fault it was? One of the characters from Watchmen. He did it. He ruined the universe, so we're fixing it.
The blue guy.
The blue guy.
Dr. Manhattan.
Correct.
Very good.
Yeah.
You have seen some of that movie.
You have seen some of that movie, correct.
I was really enjoying it. It looked great. It was a great looking movie.
Sure. Same director as Batman Superman. I'm not surprised you enjoyed it.
Oh, hang on. How dare you? That's Rob Schneider.
That's correct. Yes. Did you guys know that James Bond is in The Rock? Sort of.
Oh, I see. That's a rumor.
No, man, it's not a. What is?
The Rock is in Sean Connery.
Yes.
And
Sean Connery's character in. Actually, I just realized I did a video on shared universes and I completely forgotten until now. So I've got some in front of me.
So you got two choices: delete that video or delete this podcast.
Well,
right
obviously
now.
this podcast, yeah.
That's fair.
Except for the ad. I'll just
Keep
avoid
the ad. Yeah.
But no, because Sean Connery's character in The Rock is a captured MI6 operative who's been in the US for 30 years. He got captured on US soil, and they have his name. It's like James Mason, but maybe that's something like that, isn't it? But the idea is that it's a code name, and he's actually the original James Bond who the British just abandoned.
I love that a lot.
So I mean, it's not, they can't actually do it because they don't own the rights to both, but that it's heavily implied.
But what if they could?
Yeah, that's right. But it's heavily implied it's the same guy. Yeah, which is pretty cool.
We just did an episode on Bond. I did it
Oh, really?
like a month ago, and I didn't have that. Oh, far out.
You know what? But Two Gold's all about. It's about a feeling you get. You know, it's not always about the facts.
You can do an episode on The Rock, and then it'll
we
be
can-
fine.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can segue it back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was that theory as well that all the James Bond universe is connected, and it's a different 00 agent. They just kind of he gets killed or retires, and then they James Bond is a code name and not a. You know this, I'm sure.
Yeah, I like that about it.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of fun.
but Casino Royale, the Daniel Craig Bond stomped on that, so that's not real anymore. But yeah, that's pretty interesting.
But yeah, and I like how they're basically rebooting. Whenever they bring a new one in, it's kind of like a new storyline, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And some of the villains carry over, and sometimes he'd done certain things from other movies, but they could very well be. Because sometimes he's married, or in some versions he was married. And
yeah, the Aussie guy got married.
That's exactly it, yeah. Good on him.
People are split on whether that was good or not, that movie. Some people say it's the best one. Some
with
people say it's the worst
the worst
one.
Bond? Is that right?
I've read that.
I haven't seen it. I've never
It was
seen
like basically his first acting job.
Yeah, didn't he
He was a
muscle
model.
his way in? Or something
Yeah,
like that?
I read two things. He was either getting a haircut
Yeah.
and a producer saw
Very
him,
relatable.
or he was eating chocolate. So one of those.
Why
Like
not
in
both?
a commercial?
Maybe it was both.
In a commercial? Or like he was-
I read it like he was just eating chocolate, and
On
they
the
were
street.
like, "I think I like the way you do that."
I thought I saw an
It's
interview.
very sexy and dangerous the way you eat that chocolate.
He was the most famous Australian model, or no, the famous male model in the world at the time.
Apparently,
wasn't he?
yeah.
I saw there's a great Bond documentary called Everything or Nothing. Maybe you watched it for this.
Yeah, probably did.
I'm sure he does an interview where he talks about he just burst through it. He just walked through past the secretary and was like, "Hello, it's me. I'm your new Bond," or whatever.
Oh, right. Well, I like that, but I don't fully.
You don't reckon-
I reckon he's an unreliable
I don't
narrator.
doubt
Yeah,
it.
right.
And all he does now, if you ask him, he just talks about all the Bond women he's had sex with since at conventions and
It's
stuff.
just reading interviews with him, I'm like, I believe you believe this stuff, but I don't know how true it is.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones might be set in the Star Wars universe. You guys know that? Because there's R2-D2 and that are carved into a wall in an Indiana Jones movie, and Star Wars took place a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and droids live forever, so potentially there were going to be some crossover there.
And what does that mean for Harrison Ford?
Exactly. Well, there is a comic where Han Solo and Chewbacca crash on Earth, and Han Solo is killed by Indians, Native Americans, and then years later, Indiana Jones goes looking for the Sasquatch, which is Chewbacca hiding in the woods, and comes across the body of Han Solo riddled with arrows, but he's just a skeleton. He's like, "This looks very familiar. I'm off on another adventure." So yeah,
That
doesn't count for anything. That's not.
No, that counts for everything.
Okay, here's some facts about George Lazenby James Bond.
I'm ready.
Apparently, Albert Broccoli, Big Brock,
Big bro.
first met Lazenby when they were getting their hair cut at the same barber. It then says he later saw him in the Big Fry commercial and felt he could be a possible Bond. Doesn't explain what the Big Fry is.
So George
it's back
Lazenby just
further.
made up that story. That's not a real story that he tells. That's amazing.
Oh no, yeah, okay. He was best known for an advertisement for Big Fry chocolate. That makes sense.
Okay, so
sounds
the
like
chocolate was in an ad. I'm picturing him just sitting on at a bus stop.
Yeah.
There's our guy.
That's him. Do people still get discovered like that, do you think? Because you hear stories every now and then was just like, oh, sitting on the side of the road. I think that's how Rosario Dawson was discovered. I remember hearing that.
That's why I sit on so many sides of roads. So I don't think it happens anymore. Otherwise,
true. Yeah, absolutely.
I'd be Hollywood by now. I'd be it.
I'm going to link through to Big Fry chocolate. I'm going to tell you some facts about Big Fry
that
chocolate.
doesn't sound like a good chocolate.
No.
Big Fry.
I remember. Does Turkish Delight, is that by Fries? Anyway, that doesn't matter.
Turkish Delight was they're in the favourites now. Oh, there'd be different brands.
I think they might have been. Yeah, they were bought into the Cadbury universe.
It consists of a fondant centre enrobed in dark chocolate
Oh, that sounds alright.
with a minty taste.
I'm into all of those
throwing
things.
that in
I don't know what fondant is, but apart from that,
like
which
fondue,
is a key.
like a
like fondue.
yeah.
Oh, is that cheese?
It could
Melted
be chocolate as
It's a
well.
minty
Have
cheese.
you ever been at a party and you get a strawberry and you dip it in the
Yeah.
chocolate fondue?
Yeah, that looks
Do
good.
you move in those
briefly.
circles? Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
And then you put your keys in a bowl. What era is this?
I've got a vague memory, and hope maybe you'll remember this, where E.T. is in a universe with something as well.
E.T. is in the Star Wars universe,
Yes.
maybe.
Because someone in it wearing a Yoda costume.
And he recognises Yoda. Oh, that's right. And E.T. is in the Phantom Menace. Oh, his race. You see them in the Senate.
That's cool.
But also the Star Wars movies exist in the ET universe because you see Star Wars action figures. So it's one of those things. What was that one, the example you did before? Can't remember.
Mad About You.
It's the same thing. It's the same Mad About You thing. So Star Wars exists. ET exists in the Star Wars universe, and Star Wars movies exist in the ET universe.
Ross from Friends also appears in an episode of The Single Guy. So that's
What is that?
What's this? Yeah, what's
the
this
single guy was Jonathan Silverman, who's one of the guys from Weekend at Bernie's, and he was a single guy in the big city.
Oh, I
single
wonder
guy
how
would
he gets by with it all.
Yeah, he just
Sounds like there could be a lot of great scenarios.
he just muddles his way through. There's
I
so
reckon
many
I've seen that
hijinks.
for sure.
Yeah,
Was that cancelled very quickly? Was that like a one season?
That's got 2 seasons written all over it.
it feels like a 2-seasoner. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I'm just remembering also, Futurama has a bunch of times where there's Simpsons merchandise.
Right. Okay. Yep. So that means that The Simpsons also
Yeah.
is a show.
And also, what's the little German student at
Gunther.
Gunther wears a Futurama shirt one time.
So their own television shows exist in the universe.
or they're separate universes, in which each is a fictional universe. Wait.
This article I read explains it all.
Okay, good.
How
If
that's
only that
all
were in front
possible.
of us
We'll
right
link
now.
it below.
Right.
Both of us. Yeah. Oh man. Uncle Machete from
Sure.
Spy Kids. You know the Spy Kids movies.
Yeah.
I've never really seen them, but they've got this like their version of Q. They go and visit Danny Trejo, and he gives them all sorts of spy gadgets, and and he's like, go off an adventure. But then Machete has his own movies where he just murders a bunch of people. It's the same
That's the same
guy. Yes.
That's a funny crossover.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
That is really good.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, well, they're both the Machete movies and the Spy Kids movies are both Robert Rodriguez, who did Dusk Till Dawn, that we know now.
Yes.
So that's very good. Yeah. Oh, and also Brendan Fraser's character from The Mummy,
G.I. Joe. You're going to say
G.I.
G.I.
Joe
Joe.
connection. Yeah.
Not Encino Man.
It's not a good. No. I would love it if they were all connected.
Yeah.
That George of the Jungle, just a wonderful, wonderful time.
Fraserverse.
Yes.
If only there were a Fraserverse, that'd be so good.
Is that all of them?
Yeah, that's
we move it
that's
along?
every universe. Yeah.
Yeah. And inevitably, whenever we do this kind of spitball kind of thing, somebody always tweets and is like, I can't believe you didn't mention
Yeah,
whatever.
there'd be one that because they've downloaded this episode going, I can't wait to hear them talk about
Yeah.
the Tooneyverse, which is the Looney Tunes
Oh,
one.
right, yeah.
Which we were not going to do.
Which is in the Michael Jordan-averse.
But now
Yes,
we've
that's
mentioned,
right.
now
And
we've
Larry
mentioned it, so
Bird,
everyone,
the
thank you for
Birdiverse.
mentioning it, Matt, because otherwise people would have emailed their
yeah,
bits.
if you can't believe that we didn't bring up a certain one, believe it.
We're good at that. We're good at forgetting things.
All right, shall we do the next segment of the show?
Yeah.
Mason, it's called What We Reading.
Oh, what we gonna read? And there's a theme song which we put here.
Yeah, that's right.
in my head, you actually played it and Nick was just playing dumb all the time.
No, that's the only editing I really do. I'm doing the thing. What are we reading today?
Catchy tunes.
Yeah.
I like them all.
Yeah, they're all great.
Thanks to our guys, the Brute, the Basilisk,
Yes, that's
Rackham.
right.
They're our guys who made our themes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you been reading, James?
Ah, man, I've got a thing, don't I, in front of me?
Do it.
Just give
Talk
me a minute.
about it. Didn't bloody do it.
I want to talk about zombies, but it doesn't matter. There was a Darth Maul comic that I read.
talk about
issue one.
zombies.
Nah, it's fine. We'll do another. We'll do a zombie episode at some point. Matt, you're welcome to come back.
Have you
for
seen
the zombie
Santa
episode.
Clarita
I'll
Diet?
watch some zombies.
I
It's on Netflix,
saw it.
apparently.
Yeah, I saw it
How's that?
advertised.
We have a friend
I watched
in
the
that.
trailer. Really? Drew
Liv-
Barrymore?
no, Liv-
Timothy
Liv-
Olyphant?
No.
Aw.
Liv, you know Liv? Do you know Liv?
Liv Tyler?
No. You know Liv. It's our friend Liv. Doesn't matter. Anyway.
Liv.
Yeah.
Tyler.
Yeah, I know her.
God damn it.
She's in the Aerosmith universe.
Yeah.
That's right.
Is it Live or Live?
Live. Yeah, that's it. Sorry. I've only ever seen it written down. Live Tyler. Sorry, Live. She'll be listening when she live.
Yeah, Live will be listening.
Yeah, there's a Darth Maul comic that's out. It's a prequel comic where it talks about the training of Darth Maul and how he came to be and whatever. And I read the first issue and it was pretty solid. And that's what I read, Mason.
Nice.
And Matt.
Nice.
That's what I read. If you like Star Wars, it's
I'm
one-
ambivalent, but all right.
It's one of those.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. What about you guys? You guys been watching or reading or doing or thinking about something?
I watched a couple of things. I watched the first episode of Riverdale, as you did last week.
Was it as sexy as I said it was?
It's very sexy. As I'm watching it, I'm like, this is like a Lana Del Rey album come to life kind
Yeah.
of thing. It's just like these young, sexy people having beautiful dark secrets, and it's just kind of. Matt? Do you know anything about the Archie universe?
No.
Me neither.
That's
Wait,
okay.
are they connected to anything else? Because they're
Yes.
Archie's connected to
There's-
everything.
right.
Yeah.
So Archie's a character from way back in the day, and it's just like he's just a teen going through high school, and there's a love triangle because there's Betty and Veronica, and who does he love the
Is that
most?
Jughead in that?
Jughead's
Yes.
in there. Jughead's one of his
Great
best
name for
friends,
it.
and he's just a goofy, wacky character, and he loves hamburgers. And there's Big Moose, and he's a big galoot, and there's all these.
Is Big Moose gay in the comic?
No.
Okay, so that. No.
So and there's Dilton Doily, and he's a big old nerd, but basically Riverdale, and so the Archie comics have gone in some real weird directions in the last couple of years. So there's because it's normally just it's this fun high school universe where it's never really evolved. So it's like Archie still wears he wears like an Argyle sweater vest, and he drives this old jalopy, which is like this old kind of
1950s, whatever.
1950s pickup truck convertible thing kind of thing. And so it's never evolved, but lately they've been doing there's some sort of modern day versions which are kind of quite self-referential and fun. Like there's a really fun Jughead series it's like a real modern day.
Why does he wear that crown?
Okay, so it's apparently back in the day the fashion in the 50s is you get a bowler hat and you'd sort of cut the top off and you'd flip it inside out, and it would be like you sort of pinked around it with pinking shears in this kind of triangle pattern, and you'd flip it upside down and it'd become like a crown. And so they've had to, and so he continues to wear this fashion from the 50s, and it's never questioned.
Well, I'm questioning.
Yeah.
That's-
So in the 90s this kind of kicked it off. There was a Archie meets the Punisher crossover. So if you're familiar with the Marvel Comics character, the Punisher,
Yeah, that seems
Mass
like a
murderer.
weird.
yeah, he's essentially a crime
That's
fighting
similar
mass
to the
murderer.
Spy Kids versus.
Yeah, right.
Machete.
Yeah, he's a man
Exactly.
with a skull on his chest, carrying dozens of guns, who just relentlessly murders people in the mob. But anyway, there was a crossover. There was a comic book crossover where he had to go to Riverdale to track down a guy like a killer who looked a lot like Archie, and so there were some fun hijinks. It's great because there's no everybody remains in character through the whole thing. Like the Punisher's still this relentless murderer, and Archie's still a fun teen. Anyway,
It sounds like a great buddy cop.
yeah, it's great. Anyway, so there's that, and then I guess a few years ago they were inspired by this, and they're like, okay, let's do this. Let's make it all weird. And there's a comic book called Afterlife with Archie, where everybody's undead, and there's
Predator.
There's Archie meets the Predator at one point. It's pretty good. Anyway, they're just throwing everything at the wall.
And they're all pretty, not all of them, but a lot of them are really solid, aren't they?
Yeah.
Mm.
And so they've gone with they've made this series Riverdale, which takes the Archie characters.
It's the OC.
It's the OC, but
Or
it's the
Dawson's
Archie
Creek, but
characters,
it's Archie,
and
yeah.
there's a murder, and it's real dark. And Archie had a relationship with one of his teachers, and
It's a bit sexy.
it's a bit sexy. Archie's problem. See, in the comic books, Archie's problem is he's this lovable goofball, and he's not great at anything, but he tries really hard. He's this all American guy who tries his best kind of thing. But in this TV series, his problem is he's got too many options. He's too good at football, and he's too good at music, and he's got too many abs.
Too many women.
It's very different.
Yeah, and all the women are everybody's super attracted to him all at the same time.
Does it have anything to do with the cartoon, the comics? Really? Apart from names?
No, they kind of just took. I think they kind of just took a generic, a dark teen drama, and they put this Archie shell over the top.
Right.
Did you enjoy it though?
Yeah, I kind of had fun with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might get more Archie-like as the series progresses, or less. Who's to say? Also, I think So in the first episode of the show, Big Moose, this character he's a closeted gay guy, and that's high school sometimes. But I think what happened, I like to think that what happened is they wrote the series Bible, and instead of writing Big Moose, they wrote By Moose, and it just stuck. And they're like, all right, that'll do. It's
Yeah.
fine. I don't know. It's real sexy.
Yeah, it's so sexy.
It sounds real sexy.
Yeah,
Did they have a band that did that song about candy?
Yes.
The Archies.
Yes.
Sugar. That was their
The
big-
first cartoon band to have a #1 hit in America.
Yeah, I don't know who.
Who actually did
Who
it?
actually-
I think it was session musicians.
There you
That
go.
makes
That would
sense,
make
yeah.
a lot of sense.
Yeah.
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 You know what? Because I know the what have you been reading segment is often what have you watched or something, whatever.
Or read or
it's
listened
editing,
to.
or even
You
something you're going to read.
Because I was just trying to think what it was. We did an episode last week because we take all our topics from listeners.
Sure, yeah.
And some of them are like Patreon ones, and they have to do them. And this one last week was about My Little Ponies.
Oh, right.
That's
I saw
right.
that on the Twitter. How was that?
I found it interesting, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
whole brony
It's a
world
whole
stuff. So
culture,
it's
isn't it? Yeah,
opened me up to it because I've always
You're ready for it.
Yeah, I sort of vaguely knew about it, but it just made me think like I gotta understand this more. So I watched the first episode of My Little Pony's Friendship is Awesome or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Is that the newest one?
Yeah, it's the one from the last 5 years.
Did you enjoy it?
I thought it was,
Exactly what you'd think it
it
would
was
be.
sort of what I thought it would be, only, it's pretty good.
Yeah. What do you think of the culture as a whole? Is it something you're like...
Oh, man, I watched this video yesterday about bronies. It's like it was a trailer from a feature film about them. And it's just like changing these guys' lives. It's all these guys like, I didn't have any friends before and now I found this community.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love it. And it's it's also changing, it's like the expectations of being a guy is you can't watch stuff like that.
Right.
So I kind of like how they're like, fuck it.
Yeah. Like what you
I
like,
don't
man.
care about the rules.
Yeah.
Which, I'm right into that idea.
Well, if you like something, you're not hurting anybody.
Yeah,
Who cares,
it's
man?
so
Yeah.
weird how, but they talk about like it led to people getting bullied and stuff.
Yeah.
The guy who suggested it, he's like, I don't know because he's off Twitter, but I think he's like a brony man.
Cool.
And he's loving it.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Good on him, man. Good on all of them.
But
Good
it was like a thing that was the person who wrote the new version of it was a kid when it came out and she loved it.
Okay, right.
But she's made it like it was pretty silly, I think, in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, it's like
very,
all the 80s
very
cartoons,
fluffy,
all that kind of...
girly.
Yeah.
But now it's like, it's quite good writing and
Yeah.
there's lots of references to all sorts of stuff.
It's more kind of Adventure Time, I guess, than...
I think it's a real universe.
Yeah.
Did you watch episodes of it in prep for the podcast?
No, I watched the first episode after the podcast though.
Oh, what'd you reckon?
Because I didn't know it was coming out. It was Jess's did the topic.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. But I thought it was pretty good.
You know what I'm going to be actually watching or reading or listening to? There's an episode of yours that I've been meaning to listen to for ages and I'm going to do it this week. The one about the dude who had the hotel where he murdered people in it.
Oh man, H.H. Holmes.
Yeah, that one. I'm really interested in...
That was full on.
Yeah.
Because we recently watched an episode of Sherlock
Yes.
that has essentially the same plot.
Yeah,
Ah,
so I'm like,
interesting.
man,
I'll
I was
check
going
it
to read a bunch of stuff and I'm like, no, I'm going to wait. I'm going to listen to that episode. So
Yeah, that was quite a popular episode.
Yeah.
Our listeners tend to really like the psycho
Right.
murderer episodes.
I
They're
bet.
always the most popular.
well, true crime is a very popular business.
Totally.
It's a booming industry, man.
Yeah, we've got a few of those. And that one, I'm fascinating, but
Yeah.
I'm also like, man,
a bit of
I'm
a
aware
bummer.
these people are around. But
I know, right?
a lot of-
That's the thing. Yeah, like the BTK killer.
Yeah.
Familiar with that guy?
No.
It was just this pastor who just murdered a whole bunch of people, like all these women, and he taunted the police for years. And the reason he got found out is because he sent them a disc. Like he went quiet for years, and they thought he was dead. They wrote an article on it, so he sent them a disc with some letters on it, and they tracked him back through that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so they got him like years
Oh,
later.
that's so good. Because
Yeah.
often our ones end with, them not being found.
Yeah, a Jack the Ripper kind of.
Yeah, we did Jack the Ripper.
Oh, you done that one? Awesome. Yeah,
a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, cool.
And that's just like a little unsatisfying.
Yeah, totally.
So that
Zodiac
sounds
Killer,
like a
same
great.
thing. Not
yeah,
really
we did
sure.
Zodiac
Yeah,
Killer
yeah,
recently as
yeah.
well.
Man, you're gonna run out of killers.
Yeah, we are. But people keep sending new ones in.
Yeah.
How do you feel about a mystery that could end positively? Like you did an episode on DB Cooper where maybe he got away with all the money. How do you feel about that?
I really enjoyed that episode, but I would have loved it to have finished with him getting away with all the money for sure.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
Because I mean,
yeah.
in my head, I don't know how it finishes, so it could
Yeah.
have finished anyway.
Yeah.
And now he became, President Obama. It's like,
Whoa.
wow, that's a great
How
finish.
did he do it?
Yeah, man.
Can't believe I haven't heard about this until now.
Yeah.
Have you done any Prison Break episodes, like the Alcatraz?
I did
escape?
Alcatraz.
You did.
Oh
yeah.
man, you
I'm in for a treat.
you are in for a real treat. Yeah,
How
that
many
was.
episodes have you done?
We're up to, I think it's 68 this week.
Sweet, awesome.
What are you going to do next week?
We just
bit of
recorded
sizzle.
For the
it.
next episode.
Oh,
Or that particular numbered episode next week.
oh, next week. That's I got that. I put mine to the vote on Patreon. So
Okay, cool.
this is up to the listeners decided.
Alright.
And there was a murderer in as one of
Among
the
it.
options.
Great.
I wonder what they'll pick.
But is there a sexy option?
There is. They're all pretty good options.
Yeah, nice.
Excellent.
Very good.
All sexy in their own.
And one was about a racehorse,
Very
which
sexy.
is in some ways very sexy.
Seabiscuit?
I think so.
Seabiscuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I also watched the first episode of Powerless.
Oh,
which
what
is
was that like? Yeah. I heard it was a bit
It's all right.
whatever. But
So-
you got to, like, Parks and Rec is the first season. That's
that's true.
pretty shit. American Office first season's pretty shit.
Yeah. So Powerless, Matt, is a series set in a DC universe. We don't really know which one specifically. That's set in a company called Wayne Security, which is like that's still recording, right?
Yeah, I'm just checking
Okay,
the time.
good.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. It's set in this fictional city called Charm City, which is across the river from Gotham. It's one of those ones because
Why not?
why not? And it's Vanessa Hudgens is this woman. She's a manager. She's just started work at Wayne Security, which is like a company that makes gadgets to deal with like superhero and supervillain mishaps. So like they make like an EpiPen that counteracts Joker venom and stuff like that. And so, but she goes into this company and realizes they're just copying. They're just running second fiddle to LexCorp, which is Lex Luthor's company. They're just kind of doing rip-offs and like, poorly made copies and stuff like that. So she wants to whip them into shape, but there are a bunch of crazy characters in that place, and they've all got personalities. And
I bet they do.
That sounds good. I want to watch that.
And they're coming up against her. They're a bloody brick wall.
Is it available to normal people?
I just stole it off the internet.
Yeah,
so
that's
probably.
So
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I'd say
It's
so.
available to everybody.
Yeah. Look, it's. I'm gonna give it a couple more.
Yeah.
It's there's a couple of solid jokes in there.
There's a train catches in there at the start.
Yeah,
It's pretty good,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it?
I don't know how many. And there's actually a funny. We've got the Replica Action Comics #1 there. One of the best parts about the show is that the opening title sequence is a whole bunch of classic covers, and then they cut away to like a regular person in the crowd, and that's one of the characters in the show kind of thing. So
very
like,
good.
so like Vanessa Hudgens is like. She's probably behind that rock that's been crushed by Superman on Action Comics #1. So after that, it takes a little bit of a dip. But there's some funny jokes in it. Alan Tudyk plays Van Wayne, who is Bruce Wayne's cousin, who runs the company, like just because Bruce Wayne's kind of busy a lot of the time for some reason.
Is Bruce in there at all?
We hear the voice of Adam West. Adam West does some of the narration. So Adam
Okay.
West, 1960s Batman. Yeah, thus far we haven't really seen any recognizable superheroes. We get Crimson Fox, who is a kind of a very much a D-list character, who's been given new powers and a new look. So I don't know how many actual DC superheroes we're going to see in this.
How does the old 60s Batman fit into the DC world? Is that like, did that happen in any other...
In the Lego Batman movie, everything that happened in Batman's life in the movies exist.
Yeah.
Are memories that he has. So they're just phases he's gone through. Yeah, which
So
I
one
haven't
was-
seen it, but it's in
yeah.
one of the trailers.
So one was
Yeah.
quite... So he had quite a camp phase.
Yeah.
There is currently a Batman 66 comic book series. That is the continuing adventures of Batman from the 1960s. So that's pretty good.
Comics, am I right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Next segment.
I was going to say Powerless is okay. There's some
Done.
pretty good jokes, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Keep at it, guys.
I will.
You can bloody do it.
Okay,
All right, we've
thanks.
got another
I
I've
will.
segment.
changed my mind. I'm not going to watch it.
Okay.
Classic one was
Letters.
the letters, oh letters, we love you. Some letters, they're only a take away. We're going to hear right now, we're going to do letters.
Look at him go.
Yep,
Isn't he good?
I can do things.
I always pictured... So that's not you who sings those songs?
No, the What We Reading one I sing, because I just did it in an episode and then someone put music over it.
Yeah.
But all the other ones somebody's made. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, somebody made the one that I... Yes. No, it's not me. No, I can't sing. Yeah. Got some letters here, Mason. Do you also have a letter?
I have a letter.
All right, do you want me to do the tweets first?
You do
or
some
the letter?
tweets and then we'll thread the letter.
Hashtag Weekly Planet Pod if you want to reach the show. This one is directed to you, Mason, specifically. Maso, how could you say Ghost Rider 2 was good? It's awful, worse than the first one. Physically hurt to watch. I know it's one of your favourites. It's a cult classic in your mind. But this guy says that you're wrong. What do you say?
I'm saying he's wrong. Next letter.
Next letter.
Yeah.
Would you like... What do we got here? This is from Jamie Chisholm. Would you like to see a James Gunn directed Batman film now that Affleck has stepped down? James Gunn, who did Guardians of the Galaxy, he did Slither.
I'd like that.
Yeah. I think the good thing about James Gunn is he's got his own kind of vision, but does that fit within the Batmaniverse?
Well, we don't know that. It's in free fall, man. What do we? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, anything goes at this point. Like maybe some people, people have quit directing the Flash movie, and maybe that's because they're like, we have this, maybe DC's like, we have this particular vision of this universe, and you don't attempt to change it. And they're like, well, I'm out of here. But maybe at this point they're like, maybe we should just let people directors do what they want, because otherwise they're just going to keep quitting.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what they're. We don't know what they're thinking.
We don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
What do you think about the idea of just starting again with the DC universe?
I think it's a very real
People ask
possibility.
us that quite a bit, and we're wondering where the jump off point would be.
You can do the Flashpoint, which is what we talked about. They can just reset the universe the way they have in the comic, new timeline, keep some of the characters or some of the actors and recast others.
Yeah.
You could do it that way if they wanted to.
Would that confuse the masses?
I think they'd just be like...
We'd get it. All of us in here
We'd
would
all
get
get
it.
it.
I'd
We'd all
get
get
it.
it.
But I don't think most people really care. They're just like, there's been like 3 Spider-Mans in like 10 years. So
Would it be too like an ego thing, like you'd be admitting defeat? That's all, I guess.
I think it's I don't think they'd care. They do whatever makes them money. I don't think they'd give a shit. I think obviously the creative people there would be an ego associated with it, but the hires up, they don't care. They don't care at all.
Yeah. Maybe that's the key. Yeah, like because DC do that in the comic books. They go, okay, well this universe is too complicated. We'll erase it and start
not
again.
Profitable enough.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly. This universe isn't grim enough. We'll make it grim. In the 90s, they made it all more grim.
So grim.
And then they were like, this is too grim. We'll pull it back, and they reset. So maybe that's I don't. That's never been attempted in a movie franchise before, right?
Probably.
Probably has though. Yeah,
I can't think of an example.
Yeah, probably though.
Yeah.
I mean, the Terminator universe, but that's
Sure, yeah.
yeah.
What a world. We've seen some of them.
So yeah.
What's your letter?
Oh right, hang on.
I demand it.
Here we go. Okay. So this is from Townie222. His real name doesn't say. Okay. He's been a big fan of the podcast. That's great. He's found himself in a peculiar situation. He's a student at Southampton University in England, and for one of his modules this year, the end-of-year assessment has been changed from an exam to an assessed podcast.
Oh.
So he has to make his own podcast as an assessment. So he's been a fan of the Weekly Planet, and he's a frequent listener of podcasts including Do Go On,
Oh.
Beer Up Your Mates Guys, and Filthy Casuals.
Nah.
That's right. Only once or twice it's cost my mind to actually start a podcast, as each time I realise how much of an effort it must be, and that sitting back and letting the comedic population of Melbourne do the work for me is much easier. That's very correct. So he's got to be assessed on something he enjoys. Let's see. So he's wondering if we could dig deep in our vast wealth of podcasting experience and give him some tips, some special tips on ways to pass this module. A pass is 40%. So there's no pressure.
What's the assessment?
It doesn't say.
Yeah.
It doesn't
What's
say.
the criteria?
I guess he's got to make his own podcast. We don't know what
it
the
could be
criteria.
anything then.
Yeah. Sexiness.
Sexiness, definitely.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
I think that's one through line between our two podcasts.
Definitely.
Yeah.
How did you come up with Do Go On? What was were you like, well, we want to talk about things that we love?
Bearing in mind, Jess and Dave are not here, so you can take all the credit.
I
Totally,
could
yeah.
go Lazenby on it. I'd walked into that office. That was Dave's idea.
Okay.
He used to write trivia for a trivia company.
Right.
So he'd go on all these sort of, and I was doing the same thing. That's why he asked me to join in. But we were both working like daytime, looking up trivia and writing questions. I was verifying questions were okay for a TV show.
Right.
And he was writing them. So we'd fall in these Wikipedia holes or, Britannica holes where you'd click on something and then just fall deeper into this thing and get distracted from your work and learn so much about this topic, which is too much for this one little dumb question.
No,
Yeah,
not
right,
at all.
yeah.
This is great.
Oh yeah, that too. But then so you so we end up being like having all this knowledge, and he wanted somewhere to put it.
Right. Yeah.
So he's like, do a weekly thing like that, and then I pretty much bring Jess in everything I do creatively.
Yeah.
So we thought
You shared your Raw 2014 award with her.
I did, yeah. That's
just like she can
that's
have half
ours.
of this.
Well,
Very
until
kind.
the next year she was a runner up in the same thing.
That's right.
But so that's how it started. And yeah, we've been doing.
So was it
ever
like
since.
an accidental passion in a way,
Sort of, yeah, I guess so. I think it was an idea he'd had for a while.
Yeah.
There was a Melbourne comedian, Nellie White, was initially meant to be the other host,
She died.
but she died.
She died.
no.
Yeah.
She died
Good for you, but,
decided she didn't want to do it. I can't remember which.
Yeah.
But I think she's still alive, so it's probably the other one.
Probably okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what a boring story.
No, I don't think so at all. I love hearing stuff like that
Mm.
because I think it's good to kind of go, well, look at what you're already doing and what you like, and then kind of build off that.
Yeah.
'Cause I know for us, we used to just do this with our microphones.
Yeah.
Just talk about this shit all the time.
Just conversation. I mean, we still had sponsors.
yeah,
obviously.
we had got letters every week
Yeah.
and all that. But
every week we tried to shill something to each other.
Hey, you want to buy this razor off me?
yeah.
Throw this balm in.
Yeah. But yeah, so and I find Warnicky especially I think he has 100% retention rate for
He's
those
Really?
facts.
really,
Yeah.
really good.
He's
He's got a
yes.
great trivia
So
brain.
he can go back from he can remember specific things from episodes as well.
Yeah.
God, good on him.
But I think that's why he was keen to do something like this because he
Yeah.
just had a brain chock full of all these stories.
Yeah.
And he wanted an outlet for them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and it's been interesting that people have wanted to listen. Definitely did not expect that to happen.
I
You
think
never do.
I think that's a good way to go into it though, because you don't want to go and be like, this is going to be a hit, and because you're probably going to be disappointed.
Yeah, that's true.
you know,
Podcasting is hard for that.
yeah, it really is. Yeah, I mean, how many excellent podcasts are there that that people aren't listening
So
to?
many.
So many we don't even know of because they're not.
We're not
popular.
listening to
Or
them.
maybe not that many. If we don't know how many there are, maybe
That's
there's
a
just
really
like
good
2 or
point.
3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but so like, what's your advice? Anybody?
Well, like I think maybe this I'd say this is more a technical question.
Okay.
Like
Well,
I don't think he has to have.
Maybe you should have specified that, Mason.
Yeah, well, look, like I don't think he needs to have a. I don't think it has to chart in iTunes necessarily. I think he just has to assemble it.
Just get it together.
Yeah, just get it together. So
A recording device.
a recording device would
Yep.
help. Just use Audacity on your own.
Yeah, just you can use Audacity.
yeah,
for
exactly.
editing,
Yeah. Have an idea of where you're going. That would be a
Yeah.
write some notes.
Totally.
Have a through line.
dot points just to kind of, so if you kind of get stuck, you can kind of
Go
bounce
back on
to it. And
track.
you guys do that as well. When somebody's going on, you're always ready to.
Well, we get the title is kind of our inbuilt way to rein them in.
That's it, exactly. So, yeah. How many people would you say?
It's more
like,
likely that the person not doing the report needs to be reined in. It's more
right,
the person,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
When Nick's been on, you just can see how like he's feeling. I reckon he feels agitated, and he's like, "I just want to get through this thing I've written to tell you. Stop talking whatever bullshit you're talking about right now.
I remember
don't care."
Jess got hung up on She-Hulk. I remember that.
She really did.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I still think about She-Hulk.
We all do.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
So what are some tips? What can we?
Yeah, dot points. Find someone who you'd want to do it with. You can actually even do it by yourself. A lot of people like, can be an informative kind of report style kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do it. Whatever's in your wheelhouse. If you're funny, be funny. If you're informative, be that. Do whatever works for you.
I reckon a good tip is to try and record it as if it's all going out live, so you don't have to do much editing.
That's actually
if you're
very good.
thinking
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes,
You're thinking about it like I can edit this later, then you'll make so much editing work. For
that's
yourself.
right. Yeah, just keep going. Push through.
But if you're not editing, constantly make callbacks to that thing that was going to be cut out, so that other person can't edit it out. It's a good,
Exactly.
Good tip,
That's what
I
we
think.
did on the Elvis episode you were on when you made an inappropriate joke early
Yep.
and then kept calling back to it.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I guess it's in.
Yeah.
Was that about his brother who died?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. You're a bad bloke, Mason.
I know,
No,
I know.
you're right.
Yeah.
That's the show, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are
Do we have
those
any
all
more
the
tips? That's yeah.
I think I don't get too stressed about the audio quality. Initially, at least, if you're not releasing it to the wide public,
Yeah.
I don't.
But maybe polish it up a little.
Yeah, totally,
Put some get some stock music. Put it
Yep.
at the start and end.
What do you guys think about music under a podcast, just playing underneath the entire time?
I find it distracting.
Yeah.
Me
Don't
too.
do that.
Yeah.
I don't like to edit podcasts that are really choppy.
Yeah.
Like really slick.
You like a
I like
a
it.
natural.
I like it sounding like people are just chatting.
Yeah, totally. I get
Because
that.
they are probably.
Yeah, mostly. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so weird to be inside this podcast.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good, right?
That's
Where we-
fine.
where we
I
go?
feel, is this, are we having some sort of a universe crossover?
That's exactly what this is.
So cool.
Yeah.
Well-
I guess that's what your
Worlds
network is. You're creating I might have even read you saying that.
I didn't say it. My partner said it. But yeah. But no, that's what did she say? The Avengers.
I'm saying we're creating the Great Lakes Avengers in
Yes.
podcasting, which is the crap Avengers that's off in another state.
Yeah, because there are some good podcast networks in Australia. You know, Sans Pants are doing it. Mamma Mia podcast is doing it. This is just our own kind of.
We're the new Mamma
We're
Mia.
the new Mamma Mia. Yeah,
That's right.
That's it. All right, that's the show though. Surely.
Yes.
Can we wrap it up?
Yes, we
It's
can.
hot in this room.
So hot in here.
Yeah.
2 people, bearable. 3 people,
Unbearable.
unbearable.
I
bring
Matt,
a lot of
what do you-
hate.
Matt, what do you have to plug?
Please.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, the podcast has probably been plugged enough.
Yep.
You should listen to that.
I'll link it below.
I think the
link
most
it
recent
below.
episode will be about My Little Ponies, which is fun.
Sure.
Great.
Yeah.
Maybe a good one to listen to would be one of Meso's one. He did one
Okay.
about Superman.
Yeah.
And he did one about the Marvel Universe.
Yes, absolutely.
So
yeah.
they probably, I imagine your listeners might enjoy those episodes
think so.
as a starting point.
I enjoyed them.
I did too. They were, I can't wait to get him back on. And we're going to get you on.
It looks like it may be happening.
That'd
More
be really
crossover.
cool.
It's not enough. You've got to commit to it. Gotta commit.
Yes. Well, I
Yeah.
didn't want to sizzle a bit.
Oh, okay,
Maybe
good.
just
Oh, I get it.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
very good.
he says
I will do
sizzle,
it.
but I think it's being uncommittal. Uncommittal? Is that a word?
That's fine. That's
Okay,
perfect.
great.
Yeah.
Uncommittal.
Live
That feels
timer.
wrong.
These are all good
It's
words.
non-committal, guys.
Non-committal. That's
Also,
it.
earlier you guys said clambering. You meant clambering. I just want to
I
let you
said
know.
clambering?
You said
I
clambering.
probably did.
Yeah, so I just want to if people are going to email in, we
I've
know
said
it's
a lot of
clambering.
words today that I think weren't quite
You had a
right.
stellar one up top though, remember? And Mason shot you down.
Oh, yeah.
as he
Was that
is
pastiche?
wanting to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
pastiche.
right. Yeah.
That's right,
yeah.
We're doing live podcasts. We do go on
awesome.
at Melbourne International Comedy Festival
Sweet.
in April.
Yep,
4
yep.
of those. You can get a season pass online. I think
sounds
you'd
right.
be able to find them if you look for them, I
Sure,
reckon.
yeah.
And I'm doing a solo show there as well called Pretty Dry.
Nice.
The whole
saw-
run at Chinese Museum.
I saw that at Fringe. It was great. Real funny.
So good to have you there.
No problem.
There's a couple of superhero references.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just a couple.
Good work.
Have you mixed it up since?
Yeah,
Fringe?
it's even better since then.
Great.
Even better. Awesome. All right,
Right.
great. Well, I'll if you send me some links for those, I'll put them below.
Sweet
so
as.
we can check them out. Yeah.
Sweet as cobber. All your
right,
listeners
steady,
are
I'll-
Australian and they'll
Every one of them is
understand that kind of
Australian.
lingo.
Don't worry about
You've
that.
lost
Too
them.
right, they will.
You've lost them.
Mason,
so
do
sorry.
the thing for
Yeah,
us.
look,
Whatever
if
it's
you want
at.
to find us, you can find us at Weekly Planet Pod on Facebook and Twitter and Gmail and Bandcamp. Send us some letters, send us some insane fan theories, which I enjoy. I'm collating them all. Maybe we'll have an insane fan theory episode.
I'm not looking forward to that, but yeah.
It's going to be great. Let's see. I'm at Wikipedia Brown on Twitter.
I'm at Mr. Sunday Movies.
You can, if you want to support the show, keep the bloody lights on in this delightful man
Regular
cave we have
room,
going
yep.
on, Matt. What do you reckon? You're gonna have to choose. Is it a regular room or a fun man cave full of?
You know, the new
Fun.
bit in my show is making fun of people who have man caves.
Yeah, good.
So I think you'll like that.
I do like it. Anyway, if you'd like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Mr. Sunday Movies. If you wanna chuck in a buck, chuck in a amount you wouldn't miss.
Yeah.
is our tip. You can also click on our Amazon affiliate link, which is in our episode description.
Yep.
You can just buy some fun stuff on Amazon, and then we get a kickback somehow. We don't know how that works, Matt.
So good though. So they're people who listen. They're getting something for themselves and at no extra cost, giving something to you.
Correct.
That is your classic win-win scenario.
Yeah.
I believe so.
There
Except
is such a thing as a free lunch.
except the bank takes forever to deposit the checks, as we're still waiting on a few of them to come through. But that's nobody's problem but mine.
Yeah. What else? Thank you to the Brute and the Basilisk and Rackham for all our themes.
Yep.
You can get t-shirts on tpublic.com.
Yep. That's it.
That's it, I think.
Next week, not John Wick or Lego Batman.
Oh, here's
not
an
out.
extra special shout out, which I noted down, but then I forgot to mention last week, and I nearly forgot to mention this week. It's coming up. Here it is. I'm looking at the thing. It's coming up. It's probably an edit point in here, but don't worry about it.
I'm ready.
Just leave it in. Our friend Andrew at Free Cheesy Bread on Twitter.
Yeah.
He got a grab that gem.
Oh, tattoo.
tattoo.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That is the dream.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Imagine. Oh,
We
so
did a
that's-
whole episode where we were some reason saying grab that phlegm. Grab that phlegm.
Oh yeah.
And
What a weird coincidence.
yeah, it was weird because I don't know how many listeners would have had any idea what that
Yeah.
meant. But
So that's the second grab that gem tattoo
That's
that's in the
absolutely
wild.
right.
oh, that
So-
is amazing.
Yeah,
that is
right.
so
That
cool.
is. Oh, look at that gem.
So shiny.
Very good. Good work.
I'd get that if Harry's would pay for it.
Absolutely, they will.
All right, great. I'll do that.
I'll tee it up.
And what appears to be above it is the tattoo above it appears to be some sort of front-loading washing machine that's spilling open. If Andrew could get back to us and explain what that is.
So that's
maybe
like,
it isn't
that's like
machine.
a real wave coming out.
Yeah,
too.
it's like the
swell.
Great Wave coming out of a washing machine. Maybe that's what it is. I love it anyway.
Oh, can I do one other thing? A guy just tweeted at me yesterday. He started up a Do Go On subreddit, which I don't fully know what that means.
We've got one that we don't understand as well. So yeah,
but it's like / it's whatever the start bit would be / Do Go On Pod.
Yeah. So a whole lot of we get a lot of listener requests and just conversation starting up.
Right.
Now, so
I love the idea.
Yeah.
Because Reddit is a world I do not understand.
Me
but I
so,
love that I've got some sort of a toe in there.
Great, right?
Some sort of a toe.
If you ever need Reddit to do anything for you, like if you ever need Reddit to cyberbully anyone en masse,
Perfect.
Just
I often do.
Let them know. Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. All right, thanks guys for listening.
Thanks for coming in, Matt.
Thanks for coming
Absolute
on. Yeah,
pleasure.
appreciate
Hey, thanks
it.
so much for having me. This has been a
Anytime.
bloody dream come true.
For all of us.
Yeah. Grab that gem, you guys. Bye.
Good work.